here, and we are ready to get started over here in what I am now calling the House of Lee, because Lee Finnegan is that bitch. And we ain't had that bitch since Stephanie Douglas Forrester died. Who else is going out here just snatching their children back from the grips of death? Lee Finnegan said, I'm going to do it. And she did. Um, Darling, you're on mute, so unmute. Folks over there on Spaces, how are you guys doing today? You should be able to find the link for the StreamYard. So please join us over on the StreamYard if you would like to jump into the conversation. I think I will share that link again. But we in here. And darling, you are still on mute. Are you taking a phone call?
No, I had popped off to the restroom and came back just now.
I didn't mean to put your business out there. I'm so sorry.
That's okay, girl. Everybody goes.
Is she not gonna talk to me today?
Girl, no, not after this kind of day. There's too much to talk about for that.
Let me tell you, this reminded me so much of the storyline with Felicia and Stephanie. And I went back today to start watching those episodes again. And I didn't get to finish because I think I have overbooked myself with clients. I don't even want to get into that. But it's crazy for me right now as far as my business life. But I had started watching the episode, and it was funny because Stephanie was going after Eric because she wanted Eric to be a father to the family. She wanted him to step up and be the father, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Eric is like, well, I think, if you ask the kids will say I'm a great dad. She's like, yeah, they're going to say you're a great dad. You're their hero. You're the one that they wait for. You're the one they're excited to see when they come. Me, I'm here with these little motherfuckers every damn day. They ain't never excited about me because I got to be the one to bring them along. I'm the bad guy all the time, but then you just get to swoop in and be everybody's pally boy, everybody's best friend. I'm the one being carrying this weight, sir. So yes, I need you to grow the fuck up and be the damn father to these kids. But they was already grown, but Stephanie was getting ready to get in him. And that's why she didn't tell nobody what she did with Felicia. Because Eric has never really been in the role of the leader of the family.
He's fun times.
He's always been the one that has been leading that family, making the hard choices, trying to get rid of Brooke. And Eric has just been pandering to an entire family of grifters his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to watch those tonight when we get done here because, honey, the way she was getting into Eric was the way I want somebody to get into him right now. Something is going on in the family. Your daughter is dying. I need you to be the father. Something going on in the family right now. Steffi almost died. We needed Eric to be the grandfather. But where was he? Out
rolling in honey.
Advertising pickleball. I swear I ain't heard people talk this much about pickleball since I first found out about it. I've known about pickleball for years because my friend in California plays pickleball. But ever since Eric has started playing pickleball, girl, people on other TV shows is playing pickleball. The lady on Let's Make a Deal yesterday said she was a pickleball player and was trying to get other people to go play pickleball. Like,
they done started a trend.
See, all that stuff got people out here doing the thing. Got people out here doing the damn thing. That lady says she don't know why it's called pickleball when it's played with the wiffle ball and there are no pickles involved.
Pretty soon it's pickleball going to end up being cold for stepping out on your significant other too.
Child, it already is. You know his ass be playing pickleball. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, I wanted to welcome Irene since we do have another person in the chat.
And Irene is new. I don't think I've seen her join us before. So I'm excited that we have a new person, not just on the chat, but she jumped in the StreamYard.
Hey,
So that's
welcome,
amazing
welcome.
and awesome because we're trying to get everybody to come over here because we have more room for people and you
Less
guys can
technical
even be on
difficulties.
camera if you want to. So keep that in mind when you come to the StreamYard. And also keep in mind when you come to the StreamYard that it's recorded for rebroadcast. So if
Hmm?
you need to beat your face before you turn on your camera, please do that because I'm not going to apologize for the world seeing you the way you came in.
Or likewise, like myself, I'm usually doing my hair regime while we on these chats for the next day. You can pop your little icon in, and you ain't got to show your face if you don't want to.
Exactly. I love my little avatar. I might change her up a little bit since I'm in love with Lee Finnegan now. My avatar might have
Girl,
to be Lee.
can I just say that? Well, first of all, I'm glad that Bo did not screw this up. They gave us a big reveal yesterday, and then they followed it with the story exposition we needed of what the hell actually happened the night Thing got shot. And they didn't drop that ball, thank goodness.
That exposition was fire, honey.
It was.
Do you hear
It
me?
really
That
was.
exposition. They gave us flashbacks. They gave us the most delicious flashbacks. You know why? They was fresh flashbacks. They was new to us, but Lee done already walked these steps. I said, look at them. They learning how to use flashbacks right. Somebody else is in
Appropriately.
control over there.
I
The
know. I feel
camera
like
work.
Brad has been put in the closet somewhere, girl.
He had to be, even the camera work. I'm sitting here like, who is behind the camera? Who is the director of photography? Because right now, your head cameraman and your DP, y'all out here blazing this screen today. It was amazing. I was amazed. It was rich and beautiful. And I don't even have a good TV. I can imagine what that would look like in 4K. That was they did some deliciousness today. And Naomi, girl, if she didn't bring all the emotions, I felt everything she said. You know, I was so proud when you said you was gonna be a doctor, and then you graduated from med school. Then you got the job in the ER. I was just so proud of you. I just proud. Then you met them damn Foresters.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Now,
Sheila Carter that your daddy slept with was tangled up with them people too. And so now look at where we are. You laying here fighting for your life. Them damn
exactly. And this is the thing. This is the thing. Lee is while some of Lee's actions may not be correct long term as this still goes on, she's not wrong about what happened. With all of this started when he fell in love with Steffi because Sheila is obsessed with the Foresters, and she considers Sheila their baggage. That's exactly how she said it.
Yeah, the Foresters and their baggage is the
Mm-hmm.
reason why my baby. So everybody that's mad, I wish that everybody who was mad and didn't understand was listening right now. They don't understand why Lee didn't tell Steffi. They're mad. They're calling Lee a bitch. They're calling her. They're calling her all kinds of.
Unstable, all kind of shit. They
But you
basically
know
trying to
what?
put her and Sheila on the same level. Not even.
She's justified. I don't care if Steffi has 6 babies with Finn. She is justified. Finn is her only child. Steffi got 2 kids and a damn man that would probably hesitate to save Hope just so he can have
Mm-hmm.
another chance with Steffi. Steffi got a backup. Lee sees all this. She got a backup. She got this whole family. She got more than one kid. All Lee got is Finn. And she loves
Exactly.
her grandson. But all she got is Finn. And she don't want nobody meddling in his recovery. Because as soon as she tells the Foresters that Finn is alive and well, they're going to want to swoop in and take over his recovery. Because Steffi is his next of kin. She has every right to do that. Lee
Exactly.
doesn't want to lose that position because what did she say? Them people gave up on you. And
Exactly. And
I ain't that kind of mama.
And that's one of the things that people aren't really giving consideration to, is that is one of the things she's afraid of. The doctor, she's a doctor herself. The attending doctors, when he came to her hospital, said that he had no chance. The only reason he's still alive now is because she took him out of the hospital and secreted him away. They called it on him, okay? They called it. They said that it was over. And Lee knows that there is a chance that if she lets Steffi or anyone else know that Finn is still alive at this juncture, especially if it's Steffi, because she is his next of kin and she does have the right to make those decisions for him. What if Steffi decides that Finn really is gone? That there's nothing that they can do. There's nothing we can do about that. She's not going to take that chance. Not now. Not after all of this mess.
But I wouldn't either.
Me neither. Because it's like, I mean, and that's the thing. People don't, and that's why when I see people saying that, oh, Lee is just like Sheila, I'm like, no, she's not. Not
No,
even
she's
close.
like Stephanie.
Yeah,
Because
she's like
this is
Stephanie.
literally Stephanie Forrester's storyline from when she saved Felicia. It's literally the same storyline. Stephanie is on the outs with Eric. Lee is on the outs with Jack. The doctors told Stephanie that Felicia was dead. Okay, they had a funeral for Felicia. They
Exactly.
had a funeral for Felicia Forrester. Her baby was sitting in attendance. And Stephanie sat there and cried and she sat there. But you know what she did? She left and went and was by Felicia's side. You know who ain't in this storyline right now, Jack, because him and Lee ain't good. If Jack
No.
shows up and him and Lee are good, I will be surprised. But I think that she and Jack are still in a bad place, and she doesn't trust him because if only he had told the truth 30-some years ago. If only he
Exactly.
hadn't cheated. Well, if he hadn't cheated, they wouldn't have Finnegan. So it's already bad enough that he cheated, but we got this kid that we raised, and she loves that boy like he's her own. So, but if only you had said something about him being your biological son all the years ago when you tricked her, if only. That's all we can do is think about if only. It'd be a
Exactly.
storyline.
Exactly. Because let's not minimize where Lee is coming from, because I said it yesterday and I'll say it again. Just because the show has not been playing all the beats of her story on screen because they've been focusing on the wrong shit, like Brooke and this damn bottle of champagne, doesn't mean that all of that isn't still relevant. Now, the where things are going to get tough with Lee, the toughness with Lee is not going to start until Finn actually regains consciousness. Because once he regains consciousness, then it's going to be a question of whether or not she is going to follow what his wishes are, or if she's going to try to make use of the situation to try to encourage him to do what she feels is best for him and not, take into account the life he already has going with Steffi and with his child. That's a whole different kettle of fish after that point. But at this point in time, I don't have no fire for Lee for what she's doing at all. Mainly because here's the thing. It turns out that her decision not to say that Finn was alive and to, conceal it was the right move. Because what was Sheila doing immediately after the shooting? Skulking around the hospital trying to give Steffi an overdose. If Lee had actually went ahead then and said that Finn was alive, do we really believe Sheila would let Finn live, especially once the doctor said there was no hope?
Sheila would have been on Lee's neck to see that you can't keep him from me. I'm his mother. I am his next of kin. Sheila's a nurse. She knows how that shit works. Legally, Steffi is next of kin. So now they all fighting at the hospital. You really not fixing to fight over my son while he fighting for his life. Y'all take that to Malibu or Beverly Hills or wherever you want to, but you're not gonna be fighting over my son while I'm trying to save his life. That's why she did it, because it wasn't gonna be nothing but a bunch of conflict and drama in that waiting room. Steffi didn't survive. She coming up in the wheelchair. Sheila out there, her and Sheila outside the room fussing and fighting. No, you will not. Now Ridge got to come. Sheila, get out of here. But they don't need all the
Mm-mm.
foresters in that
Mm-mm.
waiting room outside of Finn's room fussing. So she took him somewhere where he would have some peace and quiet and uninterrupted healing. And I do not blame her, and I am not going to blame her.
Neither am I. Mainly because my thing is this: she is absolutely right. Remember what Sheila said? Sheila said that she had been following Finn all his life. Well, Finn is over 30 years of age. So you were following him all his life, and you only decided to make yourself known when it was publicly announced that he was marrying the crown jewel of the Forrester family, Steffi, and that they had a child together. Because that was her golden ticket in. That was her ticket to what she's been chasing for decades, a
And that's
connection
her
to the
baby.
Forresters.
That and the baby. It really boils down to the baby at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she was still that stuck on getting back to with the Foresters, she'd have been out here giving Quinn hell and figuring out for herself that Eric is got honey on his pickleballs. If she was really because the last time she came to town, she was all about Eric and trying to get Eric away from Quinn. She had painted her own damn picture to put up on the mantle. Y'all know y'all remember that. Sheila
Yes, I
was
do.
laser focused on Eric. So I feel like if her laser focus was still about being a part of the Foresters only, she would have gone for Eric after and Eric, why can't you talk to Stephanie? I was your wife at one time. Why you treat me like this now? I mean, yeah, I messed up, but look at the circumstances I was under with Stephanie and drunk, and it shit was just
See,
hard being married to you. But
and
your granddaughter is marrying my son now, and I really feel like that's a sign. Maybe our destiny is to be like she would have been riding Eric, but this
yes,
was about the possibility of getting close to Finn and that baby.
mm-hmm.
Because wasn't Hayes was born before they got married, wasn't he?
Yes, he
Yes,
was.
he was. So yes, honey, this was all about the baby. That's what brought her out. Because for 30 years, she was happy to stand behind the scenes. That baby is what brought her out. I'm telling you, that baby Forrester combination. Boom, boom.
That and the other thing is this: chasing Eric has been more difficult and more fraught than anything else when it comes down to Sheila's attempts to be included. Now, I look at it this way: yes, her biggest focus is Hayes, and the fact that she now has this tangible, physical, genetic connection to the Foresters, no matter what Steffi or anybody else says. But also, you got to also look at it about ease of access and who's guarding these doors. Okay, you have door number one, which is Eric, and you got door number two, which is Finn. The Finn door is extremely desirable. One, because that's her son, and two, oh, that crackling finally stopped. Oh wait, it came back.
Yeah, it came back.
Okay,
We're trying to get that figured out. I don't know what it is.
but one, he's her son. He's the one who's responsible for her now having a Forrester grandchild. And even more important than that, Sheila is a completely unknown element to Finn. Yes, the Forresters know all about her backstory and everything else, but Finn, she can try as hard as she could to at least paint herself in a different light other than what the Forresters saw her in. That's door number two, but door number one, Eric already been here, done that, and got the T-shirt. Plus, who's guarding that door? Quinn. And Quinn ain't no lightweight. She about halfway almost is on the edge of Sheila, meaning she will go there with that B. And I think Sheila was like, you know what? I want this baby and I want a relationship with my son. And it's easier to go to him directly and take on Steffi about this issue than for me to try to get back with Eric married behind and have to deal with that bitch Quinn who was up there trying to whoop my ass the last
Right.
time we got into it.
Exactly. It's a lot easier for him to use. I mean, it's a lot easier for her to use Steffi to try to get to or to use the Foresters to get to Finn than it is for her to try to get back with Eric to get to that baby.
Right.
I just fight Steffi. Maybe I might have to shoot her, but I'd rather deal with that because I guess she thought she could reason with Steffi at some point, and then once she had Taylor in her corner,
Mm-hmm.
she probably thought it was going to be easy sailing, and Taylor would just be her friend and make it happen. Because we saw her going back to Taylor asking, you were so wonderful for Christmas. Do you think maybe you could talk to Steffi and ask her? And Taylor had to tell her, girl, no, that was a one-time thing, and you lucky you got that. So you just might want to chill on asking about trying to be part of the family because it's not going to happen.
Exactly. But Sheila didn't give up. She still kept pressing. And also the fact of the matter was she sabotaged herself by getting caught up in her issues with being pissed at Brooke, who has no authority over Steffi's household or her husband or her child. But she got so caught up in that foolishness that she just went ahead and gave into her worst instincts, did something stupid, and then she was out in the wind. But Lee is not incorrect to make the connection between Finn's introduction into the Forester's life and the fact that her life and his life have completely imploded. Because let's be honest, prior to the wedding and Finn marrying Steffi, she had a healthy son and she had a healthy marriage. Now
and
she got a
his life
marriage
was
that.
just beginning.
Mm-hmm.
She was talking about how his life was just taking off. He just got, I get the idea that thing. So I guess if we did the math, if he graduated high school at 18 and spent 4 years in undergrad, that would have put him at 22. Then another 4 years of medical school would put him at 26. 3 years of residency would have put him at 29. Then so he's probably between 30 and 32 years old because this is she made it sound like the ER job was his first job.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is his first job out of out of med school, out of residency, and all of that stuff, well, he would also have to be attending for a couple of years. So he's somewhere between 30 and 34 years old.
Right.
And his life is just taking off. Even though he married this family that's got all this baggage, everything was, well, as she was saying, everything was going right for them until he got hooked up with this family that got all this damn Sheila Carla baggage.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, it's like everything is up in there. Because one thing that was very clear. Hey, Sam.
Girl, I was missing her. I was waiting on when she was coming.
What's your late self?
I was in here and I kept y'all didn't put me in.
Oh,
you didn't beep.
Huh?
Oh, that's all.
Beep. When new people come in, it beeps. That's how come you're here now, because you beeped, but you didn't beep before.
Oh, probably because I had my mic off. I always enter with the mic off and then I turn it on when I get in.
But no, because Darling came in on silent.
But I wonder what happened. I went in twice because I thought it was my phone.
And I was sitting here looking for you. Like, I've been sitting here looking for you.
Curious with all the stuff we got to talk about today.
Right, because I was listening.
I
was listening to y'all. I was listening to y'all. And I kept chiming in, but y'all couldn't hear me.
That is wild.
Yes, I came in twice. So listen, I came in and y'all was talking about Lee, and her, whatever her feelings towards Steffi, but I feel like everybody out there is in a rush.
Yes, they
to
are.
hurry up and start blaming Lee for things. I'm like, wow, we literally just find out that Lee is responsible for Finn being alive. How is Lee the damn villain in this story already?
It's this need to somehow. My thing is this: I don't understand the need to try to assign of blame at this early stage in the game, because one, we only found out yesterday that the man was not in fact dead in ashes in a pot somewhere. And Lee is the one who made that responsible. I guess part of it may come from, people who are really upset at seeing, Steffi be so upset and be grieving. And some people feel like she doesn't have that to do if Lee just goes ahead and tells her. But they're not stopping to give consideration to the fact, in my opinion, that Lee has some valid reasons for not saying anything yet.
Yes, I know. They act like they don't get it. I mean, just from the face of it, everybody know here, I love Steffi Dirty Draws. Steffi don't do no wrong. But the fact of the matter is, from Lee's perspective, her life was perfect until her son met this damn Forrester and fell in love with Steffi Forrester. And from that moment on, her life has been wrecked. Sheila crashed the reception. She found out that her husband had an affair with Sheila and that Finn was their child. Now, Sheila done shot and killed Finn. All Lee knows is that all Lee is crazy and all she got is her baby. And she's going to do what it takes to save him. She's not trusting them damn Forresters. I wouldn't either. I would trust Steffi, but I don't blame her if she don't. So that's on period. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to watch Lee keep Steffi away from Finn. And I'm going to be mad at her, but I'm going to still understand. I probably would do the same thing. But I would put my child first and everything else is second after that.
Exactly. Because when it comes right down to it, I don't think Lee's I don't want to really call it hostility, because I don't really feel like she's hostile towards the Foresters. I feel like she's hostile towards the circumstances that have her son not being in his full health, of him being fighting for his life and his life and him continuing to live be uncertain. So I don't think her thing is specifically focused on Steffi. A lot of people are looking at it like she's just doing this to punish Steffi. No, she's not. She don't give two damns about nothing else but Finn right now. That is exactly it. Everybody else and everything else is in the distance, and she cannot even let herself care about
exactly
right
exactly now. Exactly. It's like it's not a anger or resentment or anything towards Steffi. It's completely opposite. It's indifference. She don't give a damn right now about nobody but Finn. It's as simple as that. She cares about nobody but Finn right now. And anybody that is not on game with protecting Finn and doing what's best for Finn, she has no time for. And she can't trust those Foresters right now. She don't know what they're gonna do. All she know is that her son was killed after he fell in love with this Forester, and everybody done gave up on him. And no, I don't blame Lee at all. And I will be defending Lee. I will be defending Lee because I feel like he has suffered some sort of a break. So who among us can't see that Lee has been changed somehow from this experience? Because she definitely seems darker. She's always on edge. Now, she always had that rage in her because she was always close to tearing Jack a new one. But we can clearly see that she has changed since this experience. So I feel like she's had some sort of a mental break, some kind of a psychotic break. And she's not really completely wrapped in reality. I mean, you have to agree that a physician that doesn't call zero brain activity, no brain activity, just dead and let him go. I mean, a real physician in their right mind wouldn't do that. She's just literally not right now. I'm not saying she's crazy like Sheila, but she is traumatized, and she is grieving in a way that is unusual, because you can't say people's grief is wrong. She's just grieving a way that's just unnatural, unusual.
I agree, because I said the same thing before you came on. Their life was idyllic, and now her marriage is over. Um, her son is hanging by a thread, and she's by herself
with Finn.
With
just
Finn.
her and him.
Yeah, just making sure he ain't got bed sores and fever blisters. She wetting his lips. She ain't gonna tell him about it.
Right.
And I don't blame her. Because he could have had a different life. Things could have been different. But I think she's torn because she is still compassionate towards Steffi and
Mm-hmm.
where Steffi is, but
Mhm.
she don't trust nobody. And I blame her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame her. I would be the same way. I love you, but that don't mean I gotta trust you.
Right. She trusted Jack, and Jack lied to her all of Finn's life
Exactly.
Mhm.
about Sheila. I mean, can you blame? I cannot blame Lee. I would have smuggled my son off to safety too, locked the door and closed it, and to hell with anybody and everybody outside of that room. I'm sorry. I feel her. I feel her. And I guess because I love Finn so much, she can't do no wrong at this point. She saved him. I don't understand what's so hard to get about that.
I guess it's because there's a rush to feel a need to point a finger. I was saying it to Bubbles earlier. Oh, before I forget, hey Lumi,
Hi.
Hi, Lumi. I didn't know you was in here.
welcome on
I was
into the
just
space.
listening to
Glad
it.
you made it over.
You. I
So,
kind of question though, like, 'cause I was a little concerned with like Lee, because I just caught the episode. Um, does anybody think that like she's just possibly like she's nursing Finn back to health, but like he's not gonna come out like exactly the way she thinks he's gonna come out of it? Like,
there
because she
will be
seems
change.
traumatized.
She is. A lot of this is, and you can tell from, because this is the thing. Lee's a doctor, okay? She's a doctor herself. So she understands exactly better than most people what the attending physicians who worked on Finn told her.
Right.
Now one thing I will say is this is that Finn is not on a respirator. I'm trying not to incorporate too much actual medical logic into this because Bo just went there and said no brain activity. I'm like, Lord, y'all couldn't say coma. Why y'all had to say no brain
They went
activity?
all the way.
We we
Right.
we, we know what that means. But Finn is a contradiction based on what I know. Because most people who are brain dead truly brain dead. They cannot breathe on their own because
Correct.
their brains don't function anymore. Their brain stem is not telling their body their organs to function.
If
So
if
the
I can
fact,
correct, if I can tap in there,
mhm,
zero brain activity means that your heart can't beat. There is no machine that keeps your heart beating.
right.
So, if there is no brain activity, and that's why I keep using the word zero, because if they say there's 10% brain activity, 25% brain activity, that's different.
Mhm.
Zero brain activity, that man said they didn't find any, ANY, brain
Any.
activity. That was the word, any. They couldn't find any brain activity. That is dead, dead. That is your heart can't breathe because your brain tells your heart to beat. Brain tells you to breathe. So if
Mhm.
you have 10% brain activity, you can live for a very short time. If a person has, I'm gonna use an example I know for fact, 25% brain activity. They can live on a respirator that helps them breathe because they can still breathe because the brain will tell them to breathe. But they, even on a respirator, they can't live long. They will
Mhm.
die even on a respirator with that little brain activity.
Yeah.
So Gold really went in, just did the absolute most with medical miracles because zero brain activity is dead, dead. Can't nobody make your heart beat without a brain activity. Just done. But you know,
Correct.
we're gonna have to suspend that belief. But why did they go that far with it? Is it because they want to do this crazy personality change for Finn? Because that is the new rumor that is floating around on Twitter, is that now finally they're going to get Dark Finn, the one that they always wanted, the crazy Finn,
Oh Lord, they've been trying to make him a stalker since the day Steffi
from
opened
day
her
one.
eyes and saw him in the hospital. They can go to hell with that.
From day
But
one.
the thing is, there is no guarantee that Finn will be exactly the same person when he wakes up, because what the way that, because they've well, we already know that they don't do their research before they put medical, jargon in there. Case in point, we had Sally with what was supposed to be cancer, but they never said it was cancer. We had people with all kind of stuff. The only person who ever got a definitive diagnosis on this show was that Eric couldn't get his thing hard, and when Katie kidneys got blown out. Those are the only two medical conditions that were actually definitively diagnosed on this show, and it even sounded halfway realistic. But with Finn, if he has no brain activity, but he's still somehow breathing on his own, that kind of takes him out of coma territory, I guess, and kind of plops him into, I guess, semi unconsciousness or something. But so Lee is clinging desperately, because that's the thing. Underneath all of this, underneath everything that's happening with Lee, there is this very fine thread of desperation for Finn to go on, for him to continue living. She is clinging to the idea that he can come back because she's a doctor. So she
And because that's all
understands what
she
they told
has.
her. Right.
I mean,
He's all
at
she
this point,
has.
it's even less about her being a doctor. It's about her being a mother.
Mhm.
Literally, she has nothing else in her opinion. Clearly, she and Jack are over.
Looks like it to me.
I
Jack is
mean,
nowhere on site, and he is not involved in this mess. That part
right.
was clear.
So she either took off one day and never told him where she was going and just never came back, or what? We'll find out the story, but clearly she's not with Jack. Lee has literally, she's the one that has suffered the most, it appears, from Finn's death, except for Finn, of course. Because she literally is not the same Lee that we saw before. We
No,
even got dark music for her.
she's on edge now. I'm not rushing to judgment, because I think we have a long road to go. Strictly because one, of course, as everybody here knows, Jackie had her baby. Huzzah! Welcome,
Yes,
Brando.
Brando.
Yes,
Yes, my
yes.
Brando.
She had her third little miracle. So we know that her maternity leave is officially starting, but that her on-screen leave that's already dialed in. So I don't think that they're going to want to do a big reunion, but of course that's going to have to wait till Jackie is actually, back filming, and that's going to be for a minute.
And
So
that's going to
there's
be when Tanner's back
but
filming,
but
and
y'all,
that's going to be for a minute.
y'all know what? I feel like she had this baby. I feel like this baby came before the gender reveal.
I believe it too. I believe it too,
I
Bubbly.
think so.
I literally was saying that this morning.
That baby kind of developed.
I was sitting, the baby eyes wide open. I mean, literally, the baby eyes wide open, and he is fully fitting that little onesie. So unless it's a preemie onesie, newborns don't fit their onesies. Don't pull up their onesies like that.
Girl, it ain't gonna be no preemie because she was already overdue.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That baby is filling up the onesie already. His eyes is wide open, looking up at her as he's eating that food. That don't look like no 2-day-old baby.
And look at her stomach.
Flat. She lay in, and if she laying down on her side, there should be some pudge hanging over to the side too. But old girl is flat down there.
But
And
you
that's
know, she
good.
bounces back after pregnancies because she stays active.
But you know what she didn't do? What she normally does? She normally posts the baby's birth date. She didn't do that this time.
No,
We know that Rise was born March, what was it? 20th, March 17th, 20th, and the baby was February 20th. She put the dates down. She did not put the date down of this baby. And this baby is looking at her. And he is filling up the onesie.
that baby is a couple of weeks old.
That baby has
There,
got
yep.
a couple weeks old.
That baby a whole damn month old.
That
Probably.
baby could be a month old the way he looking up at her. You remember babies could used to open their eyes for
He could. Jackie probably said, you know what?
Look at the look on her face, though. That's more than pride. That was past you. Because she did. She got that because we've been sitting here waiting, talking about when is she going to have this baby. She didn't even had when she went dark, she went dark for a while, and then she came back with that swimsuit. with the glitter, the picture before the two babies and the puppies. When did she post this on her Instagram? A week ago.
Well,
That
she
child
posted
ain't
a week
about
ago.
that child look like he about 3-4 weeks old.
Yeah. She was
Wait,
posting all
wait,
this.
you just
That
want to
baby
check
been
it?
here. That baby it has been here or he came out grown.
Right? We said that though. She go over with those kids all the time. They gonna come out. One of them gonna walk out her pajamas. They literally gonna walk out and get the attendant physician down.
Exactly. It really does look like she might have had that child right after Mother's Day, maybe. Or
And
not
she
long
didn't put
after.
and the only reason why I even questioned it is because the baby eyes open looking up at her like that.
I
And her
know.
stomach was flat,
Not
and she didn't put a date for the baby's birth.
not to mention that child don't look like he having no trouble catching a latch neither. He look like,
Exactly.
nah, this
That's what I'm
routine.
saying.
I know how to
He
eat
is
my meal.
he is latched on. Look, and you see how comfortable, when you first nursing a baby, it's hard. It's not easy. It takes, a bit to get it
Uh,
right. But that baby is
exactly.
laid out. She comfortable, and she got the boys back behind her napping. Oh, hell to the no.
J Mac is slick.
Right?
She had all us watching her social media, going, when the hell is she gonna have this child? When the
And
hell
all
she
the
gonna have this
while,
baby?
And
right, she
she
probably
had
had the baby a couple of weeks ago and been sitting up on social media, scrolling around, talking about when am I gonna post a gender reveal, and then I guess I post the baby a few days. She been clowning our ass. She did
right.
Yes,
not
she
put the
has.
date of the baby. We gonna have to ask her. So somebody gonna have to put a
Girl.
pin in this. We are going to have to, when we get her again live, find out what date Brando was born. I wonder what expression she's going to have. Bubbles, you're gonna need to use your
She probably go.
investigative
She probably
eyes.
go laugh her ass off and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, eventually." Speaking of which, we don't have an announcement for this week's Bold Live, but I'll lay down to dollars to donuts. It's probably gonna be Tana.
And Lee,
Exactly. If it's not, I'll be very
because they're gonna be
surprised.
two people, and Jackie probably won't do. But Jackie probably could do a live if she just home. She probably would absolutely do a live if she just home. Well, no, not after having a baby. She'll probably not do that. But yeah,
Exactly.
Tanner, because at this point, Tanner, just Tanner laying in the bed filming these scenes. I guess he didn't have to have no study time. They could have told him that day, whatever, just to come on up and start filming if you're ready. Because I'm wondering now if he's filming now because his wife isn't due until August. So
Right. She's not due till later in the summer.
exactly. So we still have 3 months before he actually has to leave. I did not expect to see him this soon.
No, I thought they were just gonna drag it out and give us hints at it. But
Right.
they sat up there and just threw the man in the bed with a rough shave and
I
everything.
literally said I doubt we'll see him, but we'll get the clue that he's alive. But they literally gave us the whole alive. So we've
Right.
got months now to go. Well, let's not say months, because if Jackie had the baby a couple of weeks ago, there would still be filming in the can. We still would have to consider that we probably have at least another 30 days of Jackie in the can.
Mm-hmm.
What's the day? It's the 24th.
Today's 24th.
So we would be looking at right at the end or middle of June, so to speak, to not see her on camera. But
Mhm.
has anybody seen her in spoilers coming up? Because I think somebody said they checked all the
The
upcoming spoilers.
only spoiler I see that specifically mentions her is is they don't have a date for it. It's for next week because the spoilers, the day-to-day breakdown for next week hasn't been put out yet. Just like a few general spoilers for the week of the 30th, so that's next week. Where it says that Steffi has some news to share with Leah.
Right.
Where so basically all that is, it sounds like we all presuppose that whatever excuse they're gonna come up with in story for Steffi to be off screen, that's when we're gonna see it. But we haven't seen, it's only Tuesday, so we haven't seen like a day-to-day breakdown for next week yet.
Yeah, yeah, and you're right. It is only damn Tuesday this week. I don't know why I keep thinking it's like Thursday.
Because we're getting so much information out of the show. And that's the funny part. Last week was such a kick in the ass. We'd had so much momentum with this story that started in late March, around April 1st, from the second film was shot up until this last week, where they were dragging this crap out with
with the
this
champagne.
exposition about the
Yeah.
champagne. So it's kind of like we were used to so much action, and then it's kind of like we hit a speed bump that slowed us down, but now we're right back into it. Oh, I didn't
Right
want to
back
lose
into it.
right. I
You're
didn't
right.
want to lose track of what Lumi said about Lee kind of coming across dark. Yes, she is, because she is clinging in absolute abject desperation to the idea that her son can still be saved, that he still has his life ahead of him, and nothing else matters. Now, where this is going to get interesting, because I agree with Sam in the idea that I think people are jumping a bit too quickly, is that where the rubber meets the road in Lee's darkness is about what she does once Finn regains consciousness. That is what's really going to set up where we go from here.
See, that's where I'm curious about, because like I can't blame her for wanting to, cling to Finn and wanting him to be alive, even keeping it a secret somewhat.
Hmm.
What I'm more concerned about is when he wakes up, what is going where is Finn going to be medically and mentally when he wakes up, and how is Lee going to take that? Because
Right.
like, he could wake up and just say, Steffi, where's Steffi? Or he could wake up and he may not even know who he is, or he could wake up and not be able to speak.
They better not Jason Morgan, my baby. That's all I
They
know.
gonna definitely do something crazy because again, um, what would possess any writing team to say something as stupid as this man has no brain activity? I mean, seriously. I mean, we know that they don't really do a lot of research, but I think that the only reason why they went so far with the brain dead, making him brain dead, is so that they can do something drastic with his personality. Now, I don't believe for one bit that he's going to turn into Sheila. I don't think that
No,
Brad Bell has that in store for Steffi's love interest.
no.
Now,
But
see, what I think is what is going to happen is he's going to wake up. He might be a little darker in personality, but nowhere near Sheila's. But this, knowing Brad, and this is gonna make me so angry if he does this. He would try to switch partners with Steffi's love interest and give him to Hope, and try to put boring Liam back with
I tell y'all
Steffi.
that last night. I said that last night.
I
And Lee was facilitated because maybe she likes Hope better than Steffi for some reason. I don't know what that reason would be. Um, Other than Liam is always up under Steffi. I don't know, but
I just
I
don't.
saw it too.
The only reason why I don't see that happening is because they are really trying hard to clean Liam up to some degree. They're not trying to keep him faithful to Hope 100%, because they are making it a point to keep sending him over to Steffi's house and making it a point that, of course, Hope is not happy with it. So they're making it a point to let it be known that Liam is always going to be running to Steffi for something. That Hope can just never, she can never ever live a life without Steffi being right there. So, okay, we got it. But I do not believe that they are going to take this opportunity to throw more dirt on Liam. I think this is more of an attempt to clean him up than anything. He gonna continue to be non-sexually loyal to Steffi, like he's been like right now. So I'm not gonna say he loyal in general, but right now they are writing him to be Steffi's rock,
But see,
right?
that's the problem, because like they've always written Liam on that cusp of doing something but not doing something.
But he
Like,
always does something. But this is what's going to be different. He's not going to do something this time. Not
so do
something sexual. He may still like now. I mean, he's too involved with his ex-wife. But that's unfortunately that's who Liam is. That's the character. He's going to die. Liam is going to die, still being too involved in Steffi's life. Period.
but if that's the case, if they're not going to have Liam be the bad guy, then that only leaves two other people to do
But
it.
and J Matt said that he was going to be the bad guy. J Matt already said it. He basically confirmed. Well, if Liam's going to be the good guy, the hero, I got to be the anti-hero.
I
Now, as
think
far as Finn goes,
protagonist and antagonist is probably a better way to look at it, because it's like, I don't think that, because the whole time, one thing that did not happen that we predicted, we're not wrong about much between everybody who speaks in the spaces and adds input. The one thing that we were correct about is that we were incorrect about was that Sheila did not dime Thomas out during her Brooks visit. So that little secret is gonna stay a secret for the time being, and we have no idea when that's gonna happen, when that's gonna come up again. I bring that
when Taylor and Ridge is having a conversation about it, and then they turn around and Brooks standing right there, like what happened today.
right. I bring that up to say that Thomas is gonna not be in this tenuous position, because by the end of the week, the family just makes the decision. Look, we're dealing with this in house. This mess is gonna stay between me, your mama, and your sister, and it ain't going no further. And that's just that. Okay, so he's not gonna be in this tenuous position where he has to worry about being outcast from the canvas again, because he's done something he shouldn't have done again. But because they're keeping it, in house, so to speak. So Thomas, depending on what exactly it is that Liam does, because Thomas really hasn't been putting out those moon eyes, I'm still into hope vibes that we normally get from him, when he's gonna play up the fact that Liam makes bad choices sometimes, and that ends up hurting Hope in the process. So I'm not getting that vibe from him yet. If they take us that way, I'm going to start to worry. But as of now, he kind of is just in that ambivalent place of like, well, look, he ain't shit. What you want me to say?
But see, if they're not gonna have Liam do anything, and this is a cleanup act for him, and then Finn wakes up and he has like maybe a slightly darker personality or whatever else, then what if they have Finn and Hope sleep together?
I don't think it's. I
No,
just
Hope
think
never
that
would.
you're having right. I swear. I think you go into all worst case scenarios right now, and you tapping into my anxiety. I am absolutely being honest, Lumi. You literally tapping into all of my worst case scenarios. So I think that maybe that's what you're doing. Are you afraid that that's going to happen?
I'm more afraid that I just do not want. I don't know. I just want Hope and Liam to be out of Steffi's orbit, and
That's not
that's
gonna happen. I'm sorry. I apologize. But it's not, I don't make the rules. But Brad Bell is not gonna separate them. What we have right now is the best we've ever had it. We
Mm-hmm.
have a Steffi that don't give a fuck about Liam.
Amen.
We have a Steffi that is married with another child that's not Liam's. We have a Steffi that right now has Liam vowed to be there for her, and she is not looking at him twice. She is all about her man, and he's just there, and Liam is just there, and that's his role right now. They're trying to clean him up some. He's garbage. Nobody wants him around. They're not going to
Mm-mm.
dirty him up right now. So I am grateful for that. They're not good. I was right about this. This is the one thing that I said from the beginning, that I did not believe that this was going to go sexual, that this was going to be Liam's redemption tour. They're trying to unbrand him as a deadbeat dad by actually showing him with Kelly. They've done it a couple of times. I imagine it'll be again soon somehow. And they don't have him crossing any lines. He's actually being a straight up guy. He's actually not doing anything wrong. He's just being inconsiderate because he's always laser focused on what he's trying to do. So he don't see anybody else going through anything, just what he want to do. But yeah, that Hope and Finn, I don't ever expect that.
Me
And
neither.
and it's just I just can't see it, because that would be,
Well,
because Bill values Hope and Liam more than he values anything.
right. And here's the thing. When Finn wakes up, because yeah, it's a foregone conclusion he's gonna wake up. His condition is, they're gonna go one of two ways. Either he's gonna wake up with his memory, but his personality may be slightly tweaked. Not this crazy shit people talking about how he's gonna just be like Sheila reincarnated or some BS like that. Let's be realistic.
Right.
What I think is probably more probable, given the fact that he's been unconscious this whole time, because from the looks of it, he never regained consciousness.
Right.
The amount of blood that he lost and his injuries, I think it is very probable that Finn will wake up with serious holes in his memory.
Right.
And the question is depending on when Finn wakes up in Lee's mental state and how she is coping with what's going on, because part of the danger of what Lee is doing is not about Finn, because she's doing everything she can to save her son, but because she's doing it on her own, she does not have another perspective with her to help her see herself and how she is going to go forward from this. When he wakes up, if he has holes, significant holes, I'm not just talking about this mess where Steffi got confused about who her husband was. I'm talking like blackout, I don't remember a damn thing from the last calendar year holes. Is Lee going to make the decision to try to fill in those blanks for her son, or is she going to think that he's better off not knowing because of what happened that led him to end up in the condition that he's in? That's where things are going to take could take a very dark turn for Lee.
So that could take a dark, I could see that. I could see that being an issue. I could definitely see it. That would put it somewhere along the lines of the Adam and Eve, Liam and Quinn story, where Liam didn't know anything and Quinn was the one telling him who he was. So yeah, I could see something like that going down slippery with Lee. I could see it in being her getting into a final confrontation with Sheila or Jack or somebody about Finn. Yeah, I could see that possibly happening.
Right, because when it comes down to it, is that she is so laser focused on trying to save her son and preserve his life that nothing else matters. And where the danger comes in with that is once he actually wakes up, if that is still her focus, that means that she's going to still be focused on doing what she thinks is best for him and be completely convinced she's the only one who knows what's best for him. One of the things that cracked me up so much on the timeline, and I posted this, is I'm like, what show are y'all people watching? This is Bold and the Damn Beautiful. This is a show that was built on the idea of parents interfering to extreme levels in their children's lives to protect them. That's what Stephanie Forrester, the OG, and the original Bill Spencer was built for, because that's what they did. They interfered as much as they humanly could when they felt that their children were involved with people or things that were going to hurt them. And they did things that their children did not freaking appreciate in the least little bit.
And vice versa. And the children do the same.
Exactly.
All the children.
Truthfully, with Bold, honestly, one of the greatest mysteries of Bold that they will never be able to satisfactorily explain to me is why we have not had parents having more of the issue with Liam being the piece of shit that he has been over the last decade. Okay, that will never play right with me. That between the only person who had a little bit of sense about this was Stephanie, when she flat out told Taylor and Brooke in no uncertain terms that these girls don't need to be fighting over any man. Okay, they're beautiful. They have their lives ahead of them. They should be finding themselves. What the hell are they doing this back and forth over some fool ass boy fuck? That Stephanie was the only person who had the right amount of disgust and distaste for the triangle in its earlier iteration than anybody else. Everybody else,
even with Stephanie and Hope in the beginning, Stephanie wasn't with that crap.
No, exactly. And the only other person who I would say has been anything like an interfering parent who is willing to go to extremes to do what they think is best for their child is Bill. Because Bill was willing to do a lot to try to make sure that Liam ended up with who he felt was the right woman for him.
He even tried to kill Amber. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we have had a drought of these these I don't want to say overlord, I guess, but these overlord parents that go the extra mile to try to save, quote unquote, save their children from the mistakes of their life or from circumstances they think they need to be out. And yeah, Amaya said it. Brooke did a lot with Rick and Amber two to keep them apart, but just not too extreme. So it's been a long while since we have had a parent basically come out with a steel hand and say, I'm running this show, I'm making the choices for my child, and everybody else could get bent and kick rocks.
And I'm not mad. I'm so not mad because this is so out of the blue. And this is, I think, what I have been begging for. Something different. I want to see something different. And you telling me that Mrs. Lee Finnegan, my beautiful Lee, they got my beautiful Lee out here, like a nut half cracked, done smoked Finn out the hospital, and is keeping him alive in a hospital in a hotel room, y'all. She is in a hotel room with a hospital bed.
Mm-hmm.
My baby done snapped.
Yes, she has.
My
She's
baby done snapped, and I ain't mad. Because
me
this is
neither.
different. I don't know what the hell to expect tomorrow, y'all.
Me
I
neither.
mean,
Because Lee, this is the thing. Part of and I guess you could say it's kind of like a 6 and 6 on one side and 12 on the other. One of my biggest gripes since this entire mess has started was that they were not playing the right notes with Lee and Jack and their part of the story. But up until this week, up until this week, and up until that hospital visit when she went to go see Steffi, Lee has come across as this calm, cool, collected customer of a grown ass woman. Somebody, she has never come across as anything else, and now she's like on this hard. The thing is, this situation with her child, a child that she basically was, for lack of better wording, tricked into falling in love with and raising as her own for his entire life because her husband's a POS,
right,
has pushed her to the very edge of her reason.
right,
Where
exactly.
okay,
That's
exactly.
and you know, and that's the thing. It's like we are talking about a soap opera here. I mean, we know that we as people are extremely complex. I could be happy one moment, and literally Lumi was literally sending me to anxiety just a minute ago. I mean, I mean, it's like people have really got to understand that we can't be looking at Lee in a black and white, through a black and white lens. This is a character who has literally been through hell. She literally was blindsided at her son's wedding reception. She was blindsided from that point on and has been blindsided left and right ever since. And this woman lost the only child that she never had a child of her own. This is her adopted child.
Mm-hmm.
She never had a child of her own. This is her baby. I don't understand how people can't get with Lee and just be like, you know what? I'm gonna ride with Lee for a minute. I'm gonna get into her crazy because I could see literally losing my mind having to decide to pull the trigger on my son, pull the plug on my son.
I think part of it, a good part of it, has to do with the fact is that here's the thing, and this is no, and this is as someone who has been a fan of Steffi since Taylor gave birth to the child. Here's the thing, Lee, Lee don't have to give two damns about Steffi right now. I'm sorry to put it like that,
Don't be sorry. I want you to say it
but
one more time
Don't
and
be
say it loud.
sorry, because I ain't.
Lee,
That's right.
Lee don't have to give two goddams about Steffi right now. Yes,
Period.
Steffi is Finn's wife. Obviously, Lee understands that Steffi loves her son, but Steffi's feelings, Steffi's situation is not her goddamn concern. It's the
It's,
reason Lee ass was not at the hospital when Steffi was admitted. She
thank
came, she stopped by,
you. And
she
she
checked
left.
in, she saw Steffi was okay with it. Steffi has her own whole support system. Steffi has a whole world of people to take care of her, to look after her, and to help her get through her bad times. And in Lee's head, Finn ain't got nobody but her. Not
Right.
really. So she don't give two damns about what Steffi is feeling.
Right
Yes,
now.
Steffi is suffering. Yes, she is grieving. Yes, she is going through something awfully painful right now. But that is not on Lee's list of priorities at all.
And who could blame Lee for her priority being only Finn right now? People have this thing about she should be telling Steffi. Yes, she should. But look at the situation. She is not being rational. Clearly, you can see she is not being rational. So no, she's not going to think rationally in terms with Steffi either. The lady has one focus right now. That is saving Finn. If you want Finn saved, it should not be hard to get behind Lee Finnegan right now.
And
No,
here's the thing, Stephanie did the same thing, and we didn't call her irrational or crazy. Nobody outed Stephanie for, I mean, she kept it from the entire family, and Felicia had a baby too, and maybe her son wasn't old enough to get what was going on. But this is the exact same scenario, and nobody dragged Stephanie. Stephanie was heralded as a hero when it was revealed that Felicia was actually alive. Like people were cheering that. So
How long? Hey, can I ask Bubbles?
yeah,
For that storyline, because remember, I was in and out of Bold and Beautiful for decades. How long was Felicia actually dead?
you know what? I pinned the I didn't pin. I shared the beginning of that story. I want to say maybe it was a couple of months because they had a funeral for Felicia.
So it was a couple of months. So it's basically a storyline.
It
So it
was
was
a
basically
storyline.
a death that Brad Bell always intended to bring back.
Yes, because Felicia had cancer. I think Stephanie had to end up giving her a piece of her liver. That sound familiar? Um, so that when Felicia died, and yeah, that they meant to bring her back. We didn't know it because we didn't. I think that was 1998. So we didn't really have the internet like we had it now. We had chat boards and things like that, but we didn't have the type of look forwards that we have now to pick up that Felicia was coming back. We didn't know Felicia was dead.
no,
They
no,
had
that was yeah, it was totally different back then. It's
um,
like it literally was. You really thought this. It's kind of like how Taylor ended up dead twice and ended up coming back. We know that there were other things going on that facilitated that, but you didn't get hints that she was dead and then that she wasn't. And yeah, when they did that mess with Felicia, I want to say was that like the early or the mid 2000s. I want to say
2008, honey, July. The week there was, according to this video, it was the week of July 17, 2008. Felicia slips into a coma and everyone thinks she's dead. I'm gonna share the link to that so y'all can see her slipping. This is also when Bridget exercised her inner Logan and swooped in and decided to be a mama to her sister's son,
mm-hmm.
Nick, and all of that. It
Yeah,
was
that's where that whole mess with with Dino and her happened because when Felicia came back, because she really wasn't gone as long as you would have thought she would have been. They were raising Dino, Felicia's son, together, and of course when Felicia came back, was like, "Oh no, you gonna break up this goddamn playhouse? That's my baby,
Wait a
and
yeah.
minute,
that's my
Dino.
man."
Who was raising Dino?
Dante. Felicia had Dino with Dante.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when she died and she was in and Bubbles was right about the liver transplant.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold
So
on. Hold on.
mhm.
Hold on. I'm completely not. You said Felicia. I thought Felicia's son was Dominic.
Well, they
Felicia,
call him Dino.
Oh, okay. So hell, I didn't know that.
but
Yeah, Dominic. His name is Dominic, but they nicknamed him Dino
his
to the
name
family.
is
I thought they
Dominic.
called him. Oh,
His name is Dominic because she thought he was
it's
Nick's
Nick's
son.
baby.
And
Right.
Exactly.
when they got the test, it turned out that he was Dante's son and not Nick's son. So they call him Dino for short, which I don't know because Dominic, Dino, it was a stretch.
It
Yeah.
was.
Yes. Felicia was starting around. I don't remember all that, but I remember her
So
son was.
yeah, so when she came back, Bridget and Dante were playing happy families with the baby, and they were going to get into a nasty custody issue, but then Bridget just said, "Nah, I'm not trying to do that," and she let it go.
I have screen share. I forgot about that. So I'm gonna try to share some of the episode where Felicia dies, if I can go back and find it. Um, but this wasn't 2000. It was posted in 2008. Somebody posted it all in 2008 because this wasn't going on in 2008. We've had that was 14 years ago. No, this was before Stephanie them came. Steffi and those guys came. Ooh, but ooh, honey.
But one of the things I think is escaping the general consensus about this is that here is the thing. One of the things that has bothered me the most in fan perceptions about some things that happen on this show is that sometimes people get this really weird idea about who's supposed to be displaying loyalty to who. Like, one of the reasons that I've always had issues with Steffi and Hope is that there's sometimes this expectation that Steffi's supposed to give Hope some type of due deference in all things because of all the drama over Liam for the years. And I'm like, yeah, it's not even like that. So in the same tone with this, it's like people have some unrealistic expectations of Lee in regards to who she's going to show loyalty to
Right.
when it comes down to this entire situation. Lee has two people to worry about, herself and her son. Everybody else is whatever.
That's right.
Now, I don't think she'll leave Hayes to be fatherless his whole life, but that's not even on the board right now because the boy ain't even awake.
Exactly. That's my point. It's like, she keeping him away from Hayes. She keeping him away from Steffi. He's not alive like that right now. So he's going to be away from them regardless until he's alive and well. Can we wait until Finn is alive and well before we start condemning Lee? I mean, we know he's barely hanging on to life. Let's see what she does afterwards. Now, we know it's going to be some drama, but that's the beauty of it.
And here's the thing, it's what we asked for. What have we all been praying for years? Can we get a story for Steffi that is not a love triangle from hell?
Right.
They're giving us that. Stop looking a gift horse in the mouth. We asked for it. We got it.
Yep. And we getting it good too. We getting it with Naomi Matsuda out there showing her ass today and yesterday.
Sure is.
It's the fact of she said Steffi brought in Sheila. Steffi didn't know nothing about Sheila being his birth mother. Steffi was surprised as everybody else.
Right. Jack on the other hand.
She need to ask Jack about that one.
There's a reason Jackass ain't on the scene. She keeping him on the information. Died too from the sound.
What got me was what she said. She was like, I got the call that you was in and I took you. So when Deacon said they put him in a body bag and sent him to the hospital, she must have interjected in between and said, send him to my hotel room.
Well, so what happened is that, like we all suspected, we actually said this, that Finn didn't go to the same hospital as Lee. But
Casey actually, cool about that.
Yeah, Casey actually told us that in a live, but we didn't really talk about it much in the live. But yeah,
we talked
about how Finn survived. How can he get out if he went to a different facility? And I didn't think Lee would be there, but I just imagined he would go to a different facility. Period. So they did say that he went to that the hospital took him to a different hospital because he had worse serious. So they probably took him to some kind of trauma center.
You guys, I have the clip. It's 2 minutes from where Felicia died, and Stephanie did the same thing, but she didn't get none of that. I want to see if you guys can see this. I have it muted. Can you guys see?
Yeah, we do. You may want to turn the sound down a little bit, but we can see it.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on the sound now.
Yeah, it looks good though.
And it's only like 2 minutes or something like that. But this was like over the holidays. This was the time, y'all.
I miss Stephanie.
Girl, I miss all the people that's in this damn clip that we don't see no more. They had their little party for her, knowing she was fixing to die. Child, it was a sad time.
Oh wow, she's so pretty. I love Leslie Kate.
She was beautiful. Well, she's still alive. She's beautiful.
Yes.
I can never remember the other Felicia, and they look so much alike.
I know because this is the one I remember. This is the Felicia I remember. Leslie K.
Girl, she did that thing that year. Let me
She
tell
damn sure
you.
did.
When Felicia died, honey, she did the damn thing. Everybody should have got something that year.
Is Stephanie telling her to fight?
I think that was Stephanie telling her that, girl, it was too late to fight. Look.
To let go. Probably.
Yep, it was too late, girl.
Look at, oh my God. Oh, Stephanie.
You don't even need the words, honey.
I
That's how
know,
good
right?
that acting was.
Literally. My eyes is watered and I'm choked up. Stop.
This how good that acting was. You did not need words. And you know,
Oh my
Reggie
God.
and Felicia was close. Now we don't ever see Fifi no more, so that's disappointing.
That right there was too much, Hunty. I miss Susan Flannery.
Well, it looks like we might be heading to some of that kind of drama right here as we
I'm not
roll up.
mad.
Go back and
I am
watch,
here for
like
it.
go back to Google and find those videos and watch them. You can even find the full episodes on YouTube.
Oh,
Like
I done been on YouTube.
they did it for that storyline. That was superb all the way around.
You know, I don't go back and watch old episodes too often. You know, like some people watch them every day. You know, go ahead and rewatch the show. I find that I started getting angry watching some of the old shows and seeing how far away we've come from things. You know, I'm not talking about that things are just different, but how they did things back then. Oh, I'm hearing something. What's going on?
Looks like we got the crackle back a bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that if people aren't talking, they're muted, but that doesn't seem to help it either. But it's still better than spaces.
True that.
Very
Now,
true.
now one thing that I'm curious about is that aside from everything that happened with Lee, because Lee was just so paramount today. She
Yes.
just took so much light. She breathed in every ounce. To say that she had the shortest amount of time of anybody on the show as far as screen time for today. So much was going on in her scenes that it was like you were looking all over the place. Like, okay, yeah. So Baker bought. Apparently, they did get a search warrant to search Sheila's room, and they did find the physical evidence that pretty much nails her ass to the wall for this. So they did return to Steph, and they did return, Finn's wallet and their wedding rings, which I'm glad they did, because I would have been thinking for a minute, how Stephanie gonna get her damn wedding ring back after all this mess? They better get that out of Sheila's room and bring that back to that girl. So they did bring her back her stuff, which is good. And that makes it even more real that Finn is gone. And she even said it. She's like, all I have left of him now is just, my memories and objects, things.
Why was Liam even there? First of all, he need to go home.
You know what? Nat? You know what? They doing too much with that, Reginald, ain't they? Because the boy had just got home, told Hope that they told the kids, and they had a conversation, and he literally left and went back. I mean, he's doing too much.
Now he talk about he's a stepdaddy. Dude, we don't need you. Go sit down.
See, that's my thing. And
did y'all even touch base on that part?
No. I wanted to get my admiration for Naomi and Lee out before we started talking about Liam and his mess. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. I understand Lee, and this is strictly platonic. There's no romantic tingles going on either side of this triangle.
Right.
But this is part of what is the problem with Liam, is that his heart leads his brain around 90% of the time. So he told Steffi that, he's Kelly's father. And he basically asked her if need be, he would step up for her like that, even though Hayes is gonna have other male role models. He's gonna have Ridge, he's gonna have Thomas. He's not gonna be lacking men in his life. So the thing is, while I understand that that offer came from a good place, it came from a place of, I don't want you to feel like you're on your own with raising your kids going forward because your husband has been murdered and taken from you. He doesn't stop to think about the long-term implications of what he's saying. Because this all sends me right back to the whole mess that happened with baby Beth / Phoebe. When Steffi adopted that baby, she didn't adopt that baby with any intention for Liam to be involved in that whole mess, period. But then Liam made the offer to help her out. He offered himself up like that. And the thing is, when you make offers like that, those kind of offers are kind of like long-term commitments, because you can't just decide that you're not going to be in a kid's life once you say you're going to be in it. Especially if the role that you're going to play is going to be expanded. These are the kind of things that you really are supposed to think a little about, but you're also supposed to bounce them off of your spouse, because
Right.
he didn't go home and say, I'm gonna talk to Hope about this and see, if you really want me to step up, I can step up. It doesn't cross his mind like that kind of commitment is something that he should talk out with his significant other before he makes the offer.
But the contrary, he literally was at home with his spouse. He went home to his spouse after him and Steffi told Kelly and Hayes about Finn. He sat down and had the table and had some tea in a cup with his wife, and they talked about Steffi. Near time did he bring up the fact that he was considering stepping up and literally being Hayes's father figure.
No.
He didn't mention it one time. He literally left his house and didn't tell his wife this. Liam is more than just I just say he's more than just accidentally inconsiderate. He's just damn selfish.
Because and the spoiler for tomorrow is that Brooke is gonna be back in Hope's ear again, like she always does in these circumstances, picking at the worst possible part of her insecurities about this entire situation. And the thing is, well, one, we all know that it's going to be for naught, because Hayes is going to have his own father, to help raise him. Thank goodness, going forward. But it's like, yes, you want to be that. And this is one of the reasons why it's like, I don't mind Steen being friends. They're actually not bad friends. They aren't. I actually feel like they were better friends than they ever were lovers in some cases, because at least that keeps the amount of disappointment and trifling mess that goes on down to a minimum. But I'd be like, Liam, bro, come on. You gotta think. You gotta think about these things a little bit.
Yeah, Liam is not a good friend to Steffi.
She's sitting over here grieving. She takes out this man's wallet. Here go Liam picking it up. I would have told you, put it down.
Yeah, him fingering all over, talking about his mama. I think Liam's mama is a slut, right?
Well, obviously she has some issues. So I will say that was a decent perspective that he gave her about that, to hold on to that, since Hayes is not going to really have too much of a memory of Finn at this point, to hold on to important things for him. So because he would say he would know, since he actually has lost a parent, and it actually stuck with him, to say that it's important to hold on to things so that you can pass them on to Hayes when he gets older, so he has something of his father other than just pictures on the wall or memories or stories that you pass on to him, so he can have something tangible. So that actually is things like that I don't mind about Liam, because Liam can give good support. He can. It's just that sometimes he just takes it that one step too far, and it puts him in a gray area, but he doesn't even know he's in it. Now, he's not in a gray area with Steffi, because Steffi's just grateful that somebody is being supportive of her in this good time, and he in this hard time, and he's fine with it. But where the gray area is exactly where he's not looking, which is at Hope. And that's where the problems are going to be for him, long depending on how long this all drags out before we even know that Finn's alive. Is that's where he's creating more trouble and more drama for himself than he ever needs to be. Because he's not picking. You're right. He's not picking up on a damn thing. And the thing is, he's not picking up on it because all his focus is on trying to be supportive of Steffi. But the thing is, Hope's not saying it, but it's really, really obvious that she's got issues with this.
She's sitting back and forth in the.
She
She's
shouldn't.
sitting
But
back and
so
forth
can
in the
I ask
cabin.
anybody in this room, in your opinion, should she be upset at this point?
She
For
might as
what
well
she knows.
because
From
her
what she
husband
knows.
keeps going over to Steffi, his ex-wife, taking
Yes,
care of her.
her husband keep going to the house where his child and his ex-wife lives.
Like, sir, do you not think about what your wife is going through?
But what is she going through? That's what I would like to know. Somebody help me out.
Her
What
hormone
is she
issues.
going through?
Hope's insecure.
But that's not going. But okay.
Oh no, that's not Steffi's. That's not
She's
Steffi's fault.
insecure.
No. None of that's on Steffi. Steffi hasn't done anything. That's the big thing. Is that the issue here is not that Steffi has done something. Is that Liam, as a husband, is not doing something, which means
you know
he's
what?
not striking no type of balance
I can agree
between
with that.
what she's
Hope on
feeling
the other
and what
hand.
he's doing.
But Hope on the other hand, I know what Liam's doing. I can call him out all day. But Hope, why is she? We know she's insecure, but she has no reason at this point to be unhappy, so to speak. Honestly, I mean, she suffered no tragedy. What is the tragedy? That her husband has to spend time with with his child in her
For
mother's
the first time
house.
in 4 years since he's been married to her,
And it's
he
not the
hasn't
first
not
time.
seen
I
him.
mean, come on now. I mean, nothing's changed in Hope's life. Nothing's changed in her world at all. Liam has always been too involved with Steffi. The first 2 years of Hope and Liam's marriage, I saw Liam with Steffi more than Hope. So I don't understand why she is feeling so neglected. I don't get it.
Oh, I don't
He
want to. I don't think she's neglected. I
Well,
think
what is
her
she feeling?
issue. I think, and this is just my guess because I'm no Hope fan expert. You know that I glaze over with her 90% of the time. But I think part of her issue is that I think she thought things were different. I think that she thought that once Steffi settled in her own life with Finn, and Liam took her advice, which was to let Steffi go, that meant that didn't mean that they weren't still involved with each other, or that he didn't still care for her, or that they don't have a child together. That's all beside that. I think she thought that the depth of his involvement would be different because, like, keep in mind, this is all coming from Liam wanting to be supportive of Steffi.
So
90% of it.
but I'm still saying though, nothing's changed in Hope's life.
No,
Nothing
no,
has changed.
no. It's not about the change in Hope's life. It's about the fact that she thinks, and this is just strictly my opinion, Sam. This is about her seeing the depth of his commitment to Steffi still being this strong after all this time and after all this crap that has happened between all of them.
But
That's what's bothering her. No, it's not affecting her quality of life. As far as, like, there's nothing changing inside the cabin. Her kids still have her daughter still has a dad. Douglas still has a whatever the hell it is, Liam is stepfather. I don't even know how you quantify that situation. None of that stuff has changed. What is bothering her is that commitment is still that deep. That bothers her. That's not about what's going on in her family life. That bothers her personally, that commitment is still that deep, and she didn't think it was.
But listen,
That's how I perceive it anyway.
didn't I tell y'all this a month ago when they got shot and Liam was up at that hospital proclaiming that he always got a place in his heart for Steffi and all that? I was listening, and y'all was like, oh, well, she already knows all that. It's different when you hear it. It's different when you see it. She can know it, but it's easy for her to be in denial when it's not in her face. And on that day, it was in her face. And it's fixing to be in her face again. So all of her insecurities, like Amaya said, with Bill coming around giving advice, he don't even really like her. Why is she listening to him? Her mom in her ear talking about, well, you don't want Liam to be spending all that time in Malibu with Steffi and her kids, his family, his places with you. And so that's it. Hope is not capable of thinking on her own. Something has to happen to Brooke in order for Hope to get any type of agency, any type of control as an adult, because as long as Brooke is breathing, Hope is always going to be that 16-year-old little girl in her mama's drawers trying to, well, she was 18, I guess, in her mama's drawers trying to sleep with Liam.
Yeah, but I'm still, and this is the thing. Of course, I understand the history, and nothing special has to happen for Hope to be insecure about Steffi. I get that. I just don't. At this point, it just, to me, it just solidifies to me that this is just a weak girl that can't handle a damn thing. The boy ain't did shit. That's the simple fact of the matter. I don't believe that he is going to.
No,
but
he's not.
I do believe that she is going to make a big deal out of something that he's not doing. And it's just irritating. She's going to create this drama out of nothing.
Correction. She's going to let her mama and Bill create scenarios in her head, and she's going to be acting off of what they're saying to her. And like Amaya said, she really needs to pick Liam up by the ear and talk to him and say, I understand all this that's going on, but I can't help but feel insecure because I know that Steffi still has a place in your heart. And now that she's free, it's almost like all you want to do is spend your time over there with her. And I get it. Y'all are friends and you just going over there to be her friend. But at some point, one of y'all is going to cross the line.
Well, she knew who she married when she married him, and at the end
And
of the
that's how she
day,
got it.
like,
So,
and that's the point of it is that literally she didn't even allow him to close the door on his past before she started in on they need to be married and all this other stuff. So she should only expect what she got in the beginning with, you know. She
Right.
didn't allow Liam to
Right. I mean,
heal. She didn't
yeah.
allow him to be by himself, to sit there and come to terms with what he wanted to do with his life. She planted a seed in his head, and then they got, and he was basically like, oh yeah, you know what, I need to be married. And he was like,
Which is
and
just
Hope is an
pathetic.
alternative, and he went with her.
I
So at
will
the end of
never
the
get
day,
over
Cause
that man.
Steffi turned. She said, "I'm done with you," and he was looking like, "Are you serious? Do you really?" He looked there like, "Are you serious? Do you want me to really be with her again?"
I
Go
will
right on
never
that
get
head.
over Liam saying that he feels the most secure when he's married. That is some codependent shit right there.
yeah,
But he's
And,
just nailed Brooke. Brooke is the same way. Brooke does not have any type of, like, she is just a willow wisp blowing in the wind if she ain't got a man. Ridge was gone from the house less than damn 24 hours. And we're not going to blame Sheila. We can blame Sheila for getting Brooke drunk, but we're not going to blame Sheila for
for
Brooke.
slobbing down Deacon. Right.
Exactly. So,
and that's what Sheila said. Sheila said, "Don't blame me
She
for
said,
him
I
kissing
might have
Deacon."
gotten a drink, but everything else was all Brooke. And it was.
exactly. So,
But Ridge couldn't see
She
that.
wouldn't have slobbed down Thomas. She wouldn't have slobbed down Charlie. She
No,
wouldn't have slobbed
exactly.
down Lieutenant Baker.
Lord.
Lieutenant Baker wouldn't even let that happen.
Yeah, but see, that's my point, though. She wouldn't have did that. She wouldn't have slobbed one of them down.
They have
So,
their picks and chooses.
right.
So as this, because and I guess that's part of the question, is that when Finn actually wakes up, so a lot of this tension is going, and when when he wakes up and it becomes public knowledge, a lot of that tension is going to just disappear because hey, everybody's going to go back to their set places, or they're supposed to anyway, as far as the couples being realigned, the family units being realigned, and everybody going back to, the places they occupied before Sheila decided she was going to shoot people like the crazy person. But up until that point, that means a lot of things are in the air. And what I really think we're going to see going forward, at least on the Liam and Steffi front, aside from this being absolutely non-romantic, is that even when Steffi, I guess, takes off whatever, excuse they come up with to get her, off the canvas to accommodate for her maternity leave.
Business trip.
Yeah, business trip, or she may say she wants to take the kids up the coast, to go where her and Finn and Kelly went camping before, or some I don't know, some sort of vision quest. They could come up with God knows what. But when it happens, I think that Liam is probably going to be inordinately concerned about Steffi, going off to do this part of her grieving process on her own. And I think that may play havoc with his marriage, because we're going back to Lope at their worst when it comes to communications. They don't know how to communicate with each other as a married couple. They're terrible at it. Terrible.
Yeah, they're terrible at it, but they're also just not a couple that their angst is very, if I should say, pretty mid. Like, it's never something that reaches a crescendo where you're on your edge of your seat with them. Like, it's always an annoyance type of drama where they're concerned. And it's really nothing that is gained or even changed in the midst of their relation. They are a mid couple. And the fact that they're focused upon is beyond just kind of sad to me.
It is. And tomorrow's spoilers have now. Here's the thing. I'm not going to touch too deeply on what happened with Brooke, Ridge, and Taylor. But when Brooke stopped by the office after they made their decision to keep this in the family, Brooke was all on this. She was on this. I'm concerned about Steffi and her churn tour.
But and I was just like, I was sitting there like, Taylor, do you not see the faintness in her voice? Are you okay? Did you bump your head?
I mean, Brooke said all the right notes, but the problem is she's gonna go from Forrester, from that office, from telling Taylor. She's like, "Is there anything I can do? Does Stephanie need me to take the kids for a while? If she needs some time to herself." Hope is willing to take the kids if she needs some time. She gonna go
said the same thing.
She gonna go directly from that damn office straight to Hope's house. And when Hope tells her that Liam went over to check on Steffi and make sure she was all right, she gonna just basically say exactly the opposite of what the hell she told Taylor today. I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah, that's exactly what she's gonna do. She's gonna tell Hope tomorrow that she's her worst fears. So
it's the way how she popped up though. Brooke was just standing. I was like, did she overhear them saying that they was gonna keep Thomas a secret?
And why was she there anyway?
Right, been there 5 months. She's been to work since November, y'all. Brooke has not been to work since November, and today she gonna pop in the office.
And she left. She literally said, "I'll leave you to be. I'll give you some privacy." She was gonna leave, and then she actually did leave. So, well, I gotta go. Taylor stopped her to tell her thank you or whatever. But why was she there if she just came to walk in and leave?
Then one Hope fan talking
about
looking for Ridge.
Obviously, then one Hope fan was like, if Steffi want to remember, give Hayes a remembrance of Finn, how about she make another picture and blow it and put up in his room? It's just like, you're just disrespectful. y'all just real disrespectful. Y'all just can't let that man heal. When he comes back, y'all gonna be sitting there looking stupid when he tell Liam get out of my house.
I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, that's one thing.
I'm gonna love every second of him telling Liam to leave.
Yeah, about his personality, Finn's personality when he wakes up. I don't mind a more aggressive Finn.
If he turn into Sheila.
Oh no, where Liam
if he gets Sheila's anger, this gonna be over.
Dork that always seems like he got good intentions, but he's always wreaking havoc. I need Finn to just, I need him to have enough, just enough edge to be like Thomas, but he just don't with Liam. Period. They're not on good terms, and when they're around each other, it's snarky. I don't need no friendship between them two. That's as much edge as I need Finn to have.
Thomas need to take his child. That's what he needs.
Well, Thomas needs a woman first, because I don't know Thomas. Thomas needs a woman first.
He's still over here on this. Hope is my friend. She ain't your friend, Heifer.
No, it's not. But that's all down to what I've been saying for a long time. There's a big difference in how the viewers perceive something the show has done and how they perceive it. In their head, this Thomas Hope Douglas situation is straight, and they ain't nothing hinky about it. It's not like some dodgy custody or contested issue like you have on General Hospital when it comes down to children. They fight about kids more on that show than any other show in daytime at this point.
Well,
So
Bold the Beautiful hasn't done any fighting for him. I
no,
mean, they
exactly.
passed up the perfect custody situation.
Right. The last time we had a custody situation was over Will, and that was strictly Bush League minor crap. So, but
That was
nothing
what,
that's ever really
And Ridge getting
exactly,
involved.
exactly. So it's like they don't look at it. They don't look at that whole situation as something that needs to be rectified. They feel that it how it is how it's supposed to be. But how the fans see it is a bit different. But what I will say is that Ridge and Taylor making this agreement between the two of them to handle the situation with Thomas, in house is exactly how it should go because truthfully, nobody else really does need to know about what
What
exactly
Thomas did.
happened because
Oh, I'm sorry.
what did you say, Sam?
I was agreeing. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. It really doesn't have to go any further than their immediate family because that really is the definition of a family matter. So them deciding that they're going to handle that in-house and just keep it, between them is exactly what it should be. But we all know exactly what the point of that is. The whole point of that is to turn that into a secret that Tridge is quote unquote keeping from Brooke, and so to give her license to go and do something else. Because no, she's not gonna just leave. Unfortunately, Maya Brooke isn't just gonna leave Ridge, okay? Because Ridge Forrester doesn't really get left in this world. Not on this show. What it will do is it'll give her license to go, check out an option with either Bill or Deacon, depending on whose turn it is this year. But nah, it ain't gonna be the thing that breaks Bridge up.
Yeah. Sadly.
No,
Sadly, something
exactly.
will.
I really wish they would just break them up because
Right.
honestly, both characters are better off when they are with other people. That's
Correct.
just the
They are
truth.
more
Brooke,
entertaining with
Cause
other
Ridge
people.
looked like he's tired. When Brooke came in, Brooke was just like, "Oh y'all could just have your private time and go." Well, here go Ridge. Oh, stay. Taylor looking at him like, "I don't like this heifer. Please let her leave."
Well, yeah. I'm not here for nothing. I'm sorry. Bridge and Tridge. The back and forth is so old. It is nothing that is entertaining out of that at all. Literally, I don't even know what Taylor said to Brooke today because I did not pay attention to the scene.
Oh, Taylor. I think Taylor needs to read Brooke's
I'm
intermissions
for
because
Overridge.
Brooke needs a therapy session.
Overridge?
Yes, she
No,
needs a therapy session
no, no.
because Brooke
Taylor
needs
needs a man to clear out her cobwebs, and she needs to let Ridge
Thorn.
be Ridge.
Thorn.
You know what? It could be anybody at this point but Deacon and Bill. So, Eric
We
can
don't
go.
need to see Taylor with Bill. We don't need to see
listen,
how that go down
listen.
because
Eric
Katie gonna
can.
be.
Not really. I just can't with that triangle. It's just really. I don't
That's
well,
enjoy the triangle.
yeah.
I just literally enjoy Taylor and Ridge scenes when they together being cute. That's about it. I don't like the triangle storyline for Ridge and Taylor and Brooke.
me neither. It aggravates me.
It is. It's very aggravating, I guess, because we all know the end of the story, and we really don't care how we get there. I
Just
We just
let
want
literally
to
it.
get
just
Just
want
there.
to
just
We
let
just
it be there
Problem.
already
and
because
how
we
we get
already
there.
know. We already know Rich is gonna go back to Brooke, and then
Exactly.
Taylor gonna be left out in the cold. But
Right.
then he gonna come back around. Oh, I still want you on my
Well,
side. So
no, he's
stay
gonna
here.
uh,
get jealous when she started dating somebody else.
exactly. So
I
you
mean,
know what?
it's
Let's
just
just go. Let's just go there and get there and stay there and be done.
Cause you
Right.
saw how
I
fast he ran
agree.
over to Steffi's house when he heard that Taylor was back.
Well, he
it,
was running over Steffi's house a lot before Taylor got back. So that's the thing about this Brook and Ridge issue that I hate to even talk about because it doesn't matter how much sense I make. It's gonna be the same result. Brooke and Ridge were having it out weeks before Taylor even came back, and Ridge was walking out. In the last time he walked out with a bottle to go drinking with Steffi. I mean, come on. Brooke and Ridge had problems before Taylor even came into the picture. But now Sheila's switching of the alcohol. Oh my God. You know, whoever came up with that storyline, I really just would like to talk to them. Just a conversation. I
Looks
I
promise
like
I will.
said
Finnegan's
I really wanted Sheila to fire some bullets into that house to scare all three of them.
What house?
Steffi's.
You wanted Sheila to shoot in
No,
Steffi's house?
girl, no. She better
I
go
wanted
shoot
her
up
to
at
fire
Beverly
some bullets
Hills.
to see if she remembered, to help her remember more clearly. Because the way how Steffi was remembering, she should have looked at her like, "Do you not remember why you really came after me?"
Reginald, you a fool.
Yes, I'm trying to tell you. You done came out from left field talking about Sheila. I was literally, I'm like, who house?
But when she get out, she might do that to Brooke house.
So listen, when Sheila gets out, since that brings up a good point. Now that Finn is alive, Sheila is no longer guilty of murder. She is now guilty of 2 counts
Attempted
of
murder.
attempted murder.
And that calls for a harsher charge.
But a tweeter, a very ingenious tweeter, just piqued my interest when he said, "Well, what if Sheila copped to a deal? You know, literally, I copped to the hiding evidence and attempted murder of Steffi because I didn't try to shoot Steffi. Let's say I'll cop to hiding the evidence and murder, attempting to murder Steffi. All for just taking the 1 count of murder, and I'll give you 20 years instead of you getting 50 for all of them, right?"
But knowing Sheila, she probably go on the table with it.
But if Sheila took the deal where she was convicted of murder because they went ahead and did away with the attempted in the getting away with the evidence, and then Finn turns up alive, she's no longer guilty of murder.
No, she's not.
Well,
Her
you
entire
know,
conviction would end up thrown out. They'd have to
well,
retry her.
And
you
then
know what?
that's up to the
She's legally,
the state to retry. So that's not even a guarantee at that point.
well, Lee said she signed a death certificate. So my thing is, if she signed a legal document saying that he's dead legally, he can come back as John Paul Igris. It don't matter. He'll be somebody totally different, and she can still live off on them charges.
But that's not what's gonna happen because we know John Finnegan is
No, they're gonna invalidate. They're gonna end up having to invalidate that death
the whole
certificate.
thing, right?
Because he
not
also
really
told
guilty.
Steffi that she got cremated.
Right. Sheila could potentially, because this would be legal, if because you can be presented with a plea deal. We got enough evidence for 3 charges here, but we'll throw out the 2 if you cop to the murder, and instead of getting the 25 to life twice for the attempted, and then whatever 10 or 15 you're gonna get for whatever. So instead of 60 years, go ahead and cop for the 20 to 25. She cops to 20 or 25 because she's planning on escaping, or not planning on escaping, however they want to write it. And then Finn shows up alive and not dead. Then that means that Sheila is no longer guilty of the murder. So legally, she would be set free because all a lawyer would have to do is say, "We want to throw this out. That man ain't dead."
Exactly. And she has a lawyer. She made that clear during Brooke's visit that she does have legal representation. And any lawyer worth their salt will say, "Hey, you cannot keep my client imprisoned for a crime that they didn't actually commit. You convicted her of
There's no
murder. He's not dead."
in the law.
So you think that Ridge is going to allow them to just cop a deal to where they just put her on murder charges for Finn and nothing against for what she did to Steffi?
Ridge has a way of
damn charges for Flo, didn't he?
Well, but
no, but that's not his. But that's not his daughter. That's not his only daughter. My thing is, if anything, it might be the vice versa. She
So
might
this
just
is
get
the
off with
thing.
just being charged for the aggravated assault, and as far as attempted murder on Steffi.
But this is the thing, though. We know that Sheila's not going to be in jail or prison long term. Bold and Beautiful don't do jail sets. She's
Right.
not going to be in jail. She is getting out.
She
So
said it
this is
herself.
the, so
She's
She
this
gonna
is the
said it
leave.
thing.
herself.
Yeah,
Whether or
she
not
gonna leave out that transport van.
So this is the thing, whether or not the show is going to take the opportunity to try and redeem her in some kind of way. And I said try, and I'm using air quotes, in trying to bring her onto canvas some kind of way.
Therapy with
So first
Taylor.
they would have to get her out of jail. That's the first problem, but that would be solved under this scenario. And secondly, then she would have to be worked into the canvas. Now,
Therapy with
she
Taylor.
has no friends on canvas except for Finn, who's now back alive again. What if his personality change is, more lenient towards Sheila? Sheila and Lee.
Yep.
I mean,
Well,
all
you
I'm doing is throwing stuff out here, just throwing things out. I'm not saying I think this can go anyway, but if we think about the fact that we do need, Sheila's going to get out. We're not going to say we need to get her out.
No,
We
Sheila's
can
not
agree
staying in
here.
prison. That's not
Sheila's
happening.
getting out. Right. So how is she getting out? Is she breaking out or is she getting out legally?
She
no,
gonna pay. She gonna pay one of them
they gonna
cops.
let her out. They're going to let her out through transport, and she's going to escape out of the van, out of custody, or something. Because
Yes, and
she's
then what
like,
happens?
Gonna let her get it. You
What
can
happens,
be.
Finn, when Finn shows up alive? That's my point.
See,
There's no way
okay.
Sheila
I have,
there's no way Sheila
I have
gonna
a
stay
theory
in jail
about.
for
I
10
got a theory about all that. I have. Can I haven't been on. So can I just get this out the way? Did you guys see Lee telling? She was actually saying everything Bubbles was talking about, that she did blame Steffi and the Foresters and all that, bringing Sheila back out of the woods and moved her up under her rock. What if all that talking she's doing to Finn while he's in this comatose state is like rewiring him, and he wakes up and he doesn't have all this love and devotion that he once had for Steffi, and in fact it flips? Like, that could be like a possibility. I saw this episode today just now. That's what took me so long getting on, because I hadn't been able to watch it till now. And I'm like, what if he wake up and he's not able to remember her? Not only he don't remember her, but he doesn't have the same love for her.
I think he's gonna wake up sympathetic to Sheila, and that's gonna be something that nobody expected. And that's probably what's gonna keep her out of jail. Nobody's gonna expect her.
Because Lee kept saying
Yeah.
keep fighting, and they zoomed in on his ass. His ass was moving back and forth. And I'm
Right.
just like,
So
is he gonna wake up soon?
The jury definitely thinks Finn is coming out of this with some sort of a cognitive change. Either we're talking severe memory loss. What you mentioned is possible. External stimuli could influence how he perceives things once he wakes up, or he could just wake up and just be have a completely different personality from the one that we've known.
Let's be honest. Bill is not going to give us everything that we want. Like, Finn was perfect
drama.
Right, exactly. So he gave us Finn. Finn was ideal for us to love for Steffi. And now he's gonna wake up out of being coma. I believe he's gonna be totally flipped. And like she said, like Bubble said, he might be sympathetic because he was leaning towards that when he first met Sheila. He was very sympathetic to her. And it was always Steffi pushing the cause of, you can't be with her. No, I have a history with her. She's dangerous. She's this and that. So I don't know. I'm very scared how this storyline is gonna come back when everybody comes from their leaves and they're sick, being healed up. Did you guys tell Sam about what we were talking about yesterday?
I don't think we did a review of yesterday.
We was on yesterday.
No, but Sam left early, so she may have missed part of what we were talking about.
Girl, you know I don't even remember.
Me neither. That's one of the reasons these things are recorded, and we post them, and we only get 2 hours, so we can go back and watch it later.
I was just saying that how all three actresses are going to be seemingly out at the same time during the
Oh,
summer.
that part. Okay, no, that part about the part about JMW she knows, but we were talking yesterday about the fact that apparently Kimberly Brown is supposed to go out in June because she has to get pins taken out of her ankle, and that KKL, well, with her awful accident with her ankle, that she may not be around as much as she would have originally liked to have been, just because it looks like her recovery is going to be a bit tougher for her than she would have originally thought. So that means that they're going to have to recenter the show a bit differently. Now we already know what's going to happen with the Eric Donna, Quinn Carter Paris conundrum, but I really do see Lee take, especially because it looks like they're really getting ready to invest something in her, or maybe
Yes.
maybe that might be my wishful thinking, but it
No,
really
I
feels like
agree.
they're going to
she's
invest in her.
going front burner right now.
Right.
Yeah,
She's
I
front
agree.
burner right now.
Yes.
Exactly. So, and remember, they did say when they did the Bold Live event that the reason that they were running, off schedule was because they had to rework some scenes, and that Naomi and that Kimberlyn had to go shoot scenes.
Running
So,
lines like crazy was what Kimberlyn said. So they doing a lot of lines.
exactly. So that means that Lee is shifting to front burner on this story, and that may end up taking up a good lion's share of it when it comes down to what's going to be happening, especially if with JMW being out, if with KKL not being as big a part as she normally would, and even if Kimberlyn has to take a break for a while because of her going to get those pins out of her ankle. So that's going to leave, at least in this particular story, not that many ladies to lead the story. That's going to just basically leave behind Lee and Taylor for the most part.
Right. Do you think they're going to become like arch rivals, or do you think they're going to go head to head?
So that would be Hope, Taylor, Lee, Sheila, and Donna.
Mhm.
That's and Katie might kick in. Well, no, she's directing, so that's 5 of them, right? Paris,
Well,
6.
she's not directing Dynasty anymore. She's
But
doing
I think
something
they
else.
canceled next season. They still shooting right now, ain't they? Or did they stop dead in their tracks?
I think they stopped.
They're done.
You
Because
double
They
check.
went dead in
Yeah.
their
I thought the whole season was in the can already.
yeah.
Yeah.
Usually they have Usually they don't. They let you know they're not doing another season.
But that's
I'll
what
double check, but I think it's over with. Like I think they didn't even want to wrap up the season. I'll double check, but
no, you guys, it's over because of the way the seasons fall. So this last season, it was their last season. There's not going to be more shooting.
So we might get so hey, listen, with Bill showing up, we might get some more Katie. Wyatt even showing up, we might get some Waddy.
Child, if Katie show up and Bill
That
and
would be
Katie,
fun for
Bill
summer.
and
I'm telling you, Waddy
Katie,
would be
Bill
fun for
and
summer. Katie,
all
Bill,
under one roof.
Wyatt, yeah, I would be here for it for the summertime.
I'm definitely for it.
That's the way
Yeah.
how she gonna show back up though.
Huh?
It's the way how they gonna have her show back up after being gone for so long.
Well, but that's the thing. But here's the thing, though. On Bold and Beautiful, she's not gone. As far as the canvas is concerned, that's the thing about Bold. On paper, people aren't actually gone. Nobody has said anything about Katie not being in LA. Just like nobody has ever said anything about Flo not being in LA. We ain't seen her ass in a year. Basically, they're still there, so they're not gonna really worry about explaining where they've been because on paper they didn't go anywhere.
Right. She was here. She was at Brooke's house during Christmas time. She was talking to Brooke during Christmas time when her and Ridge was having problems before the kids.
Right. They just go pretend like she's around. Just been busy.
And she said that her and Bill was still trying to win her back. She always has these wonderful lines.
Do she still live next to Eric?
As far as I know,
yeah, she still lives next door to Eric.
Yes, that's how she lives, next door to Eric. And last I knew, Donna was living with her while she lived next door to Eric. Donna was living there.
Right, and they had that last scene where they were all hugged up in some room. Was that had to have been presumably in Katie's house? Like we could presume that was in her house.
Who was hugged up?
Honey Bear and Winnie the Pooh. They was all up in the room somewhere.
Oh, so they were at the club. They was at the club where he played pickleball.
That was not at the club, was it?
The first, the first, the
That
first
looked
one
like
was
a
at the,
house or a
the
hotel
first one was
room.
at the, the
It's a
first one was at the club.
The
The
club
second
is
one
a
was at a
hotel.
hotel.
Oh, there was two different. No, they meet up at the same place.
There
That
is
same
no
ugly place with them leaves on the wall.
No,
There
he
is no
always
hotel.
He always say he going to the club to play pickleball. And you
But
know
there
they
I
have
thought
some
that
rooms.
was a room at the club.
They do have rooms at the club. Those
That's what I
clubs,
thought it was.
exactly. They are like resorts.
What?
gonna learn to
Yes, they
listen.
have rooms. You girl. Nice
Oh, wait
ones.
a
That's
minute.
why they
Okay,
have
so
those
this
nice
is like a
clubs.
country
They
club?
have hosting. They have ballrooms, hosting conference rooms.
No,
Those
ma'am.
clubs.
No,
That's where
ma'am. Y'all gonna learn to listen to me. Ain't no damn way that Eric is at no fucking club. Everybody at
Oh
that
yeah.
club,
No Eric Ford.
everybody at that club knows who Eric is.
And his wife.
That club knows who Donna is. He is not going to go
Yes.
and have a public affair at the fucking club where his wife is also a member and can just pop up at any time.
Amen.
Eric is
Amen.
dick dumb, but he's not that damn dick dumb. And I'm telling you, based on the
Eric is
vote
pretty
five,
stupid.
that Jennifer Harris has said that the decoration in that room is similar to the decoration in one of the hotels in Los Angeles. Y'all gonna listen to me someday.
And
It
you
might
know
not
what?
be today, it's gonna be someday. They are in that same hotel
Yes.
that Eric was in with Sheila when he said, I come here because nobody knows me here. When
Yes.
Steffi said, Grandpa, well,
Yes.
are you not concerned that people gonna see you up in here with fucking Sheila Carter? And Eric said, listen, Steffi Jr., the reason I come here is because nobody knows me. Eric is in fucking Ventura or Oxnard or Simi Valley or
He's in Encino. He's in Encino.
with Donna. He is not at no fucking country club where Quinn is a member, Brooke is a member, Ridge is a member, Carter's probably a member, Steffi's a member. His whole goddamn family is a member of that club. Do you really think that's when he's taking his whore? He's not doing that. They are not at the club. That's the lie he's telling the Queen.
So
he probably took her back to that original hotel where he was hanging off the damn ledge at. That's probably where they at. Because since they want to rendezvous about reminiscing.
I asked him about
you
that.
ask?
Yeah,
Who
I
asked
asked
Eric
specifically about was they gonna be on ledges, and they said no. But Garris did say that the decoration in that hotel is similar to the. I even made a tweet about it at the time because she named the hotel that the decorations were similar to, and I was like, I knew Eric wouldn't be at no damn club because his whole family is a member of the club, and you're not gonna stroll up in the club that your whole family got lifetime memberships to with your hoe on your arm. And I don't care if Donna is a member of the club too. People talk. That shit would have got back to Quinn by now if they was really going to the club after all these months. You can't tell me it ain't one person at that club that ain't a gossipy Gertrude that would not be toes curled in the air to get on the phone. Quinn, girl, I didn't know you and Eric broke up. I see he all booed up here at the club with Donna. Yeah, he's not gonna do that. Eric is dick dumb, but he ain't that dick dumb.
Yeah, he's not gonna take her in somewhere.
Well, we're gonna find out for sure whenever Fitbit gate goes off. We're gonna see where Quinn going to catch them.
Yeah, because that would be something if he was going next door, laying up with Donna under Katie's roof. That would be terrible.
Oh, that's just trifling.
Right.
Yeah, well, he is being real trifling right now.
Well, he is definitely being trifling. You ain't never lied on that.
So over here playing with
Honey.
honey.
We seeing Honey Bear tomorrow.
The energy.
Well, it looks like I guess Lee is going to be, leaving Finn because tomorrow I guess we get another Steffi and Lee scene since it says Steffi is looking to leave for closure, and then we're gonna probably get that played off some with this foolishness with Brooke buzzing in Hope ear about all her insecurities and shit again for the 99th damn time.
Bubba might get her ashes tomorrow.
So is Liam gonna be present?
He probably gonna be. He probably gonna be sitting there watching Steffi.
Probably because Hope
That's
Brooke
10 out
don't
of
Brooke
10.
don't these Brooke and Hope conversations don't never happen when Liam's actually around. So
No.
when she gets to when he my bet is Brooke gets to the cabin, Liam's not there, and Hope sitting there with a glass of Chardonnay. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. It should be
on the
afternoon.
couch.
It should be afternoon by the time all this happens. Let Hope be sitting there with a glass of Chardonnay, please.
You know she is. You know
Because
Hope
every time he not there, she always drinking.
Y'all know that's cranberry juice. That's not real wine. She not of age yet. She can't be drinking.
I'm hoping she's sitting there with an afternoon glass of Chardonnay to still her damn nerves. And Brooke stroll in and ask her where Liam is. And when she say where Liam is, then Brooke gonna go again. But what I do think is that if Lee shows back up at the Cliff House to talk to Steffi, that Liam will probably go ahead and make his exit and show up back at the Cliff House right after Brookton just told, Hope whatever other BS that she normally tells her to get her up in her damn feelings.
So you
Winding
telling me
up like a ball.
so you telling me Brooke went from seeing Sheila to going to Force the Creations and now going back to Hope. You know what? This
That's
woman need to go
exactly
sit.
what's gonna happen.
She need to go sit down somewhere.
Well, see, but that's the thing.
What happens when you have absolutely nothing to do.
When you have characters doing too much, that is how Belle writes them. Remember when Liam was all up in his feelings about Steffi and Finn first starting dating? That fool was on a tour of LA. He was at Spencer. He was at Forrester. He was every damn where. And then at Steffi's house, talking about how Finn was this, that, and the third. And then he ended up back at his cabin. I was like, bruh. This is why you don't get no work done. You've been at every damn location on this place except for Eric Forrest's house talking about this man, and you finally back at your own house.
And then Ridge was like, "Can you let her be happy, please?" Like Liam cannot let this woman be happy. He just always have to be in her business.
Well, right now
that's a double-edged sword. Like, which one are you talking about?
But you know what? I only care about one. But you're right. He always brings her misfortune. He always brings her misfortune, though. No matter what he's trying to do. Like, in my opinion, when Lee comes over tomorrow, Liam is probably going to give Lee pause to question Steffi. She's not going to question Steffi, but it's not going to look good in Lee's eyes for that Liam to be stalking around her son's home. She's not gonna like it, and if that happens, that's again another example of how just Liam's presence always befalls misfortune onto Steffi.
Because now Steffi's starting to question Lee now. Because Steffi's like, isn't she like secretly keeping a secret from me? And then Liam, here go Liam.
Well,
oh yeah, she's keeping something.
But
that's luck charm.
Well, Hope. Ugh. Steffi did say when her and Taylor were talking after Lee left, that she felt something was off, that something was not right there, and they were just putting it off on her grieving, like Steffi's grieving because she lost her son, Steffi lost her husband. They've just put it off on grief. But the thing is, the longer this persists, the less likely they're going to be able to say that this is the grief talking, and somebody's going to realize that there's something going on with Lee Finnegan other than that.
I think that it's going to come out when they find out that she's the one who signed the death certificate.
Right.
Because Steffi will get a copy of that.
Well, but that's not going to be alarming though, because who else would sign it besides Steffi? Lee?
And she wasn't supposed to sign that, being his mother.
But Steffi was in a coma.
But then they probably was like Steffi.
No, she couldn't sign off as the doctor. She couldn't sign.
She is a doctor.
I know, but she can't sign. That's for the morgue. Like, isn't that for
the attending is supposed to? The attending doctor who saw them is supposed to sign the death certificate.
Right.
So
the doctor who called it is the one who's supposed to sign it.
Right. So if I'm assuming Lee signed it, but I don't know if she signed it with her signature, because if Steffi got to look at that would look weird. Because wouldn't Lee have mentioned that she saw that she was one of the doctors who attended Finn and coded him, that would be
But
something you would mention.
Right.
but okay, so what if she does mention it? But I just don't see how that is going to be the catalyst. Just death certificate for what? What does Steffi need a death certificate for right now?
No, I don't think the death certificate is going to be the catalyst. The catalyst is going to be that at some point, the catalyst is not going to come from without, it's going to come from within. The catalyst is going to be that Finn is going to pop his damn eyes open, and Lee is going to have to do something at that point. Because here's the thing, once he wakes up,
Right.
regardless of his condition or his personality, she's not going to be able to keep him confined to that room indefinitely.
No.
That's
So
not
she
going to
has
fly.
right now. Then she has to take over mentally to control him, and she's going to be telling herself to keep him safe.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
you brought up why would the death certificate come up or anything? She mentioned it, so they don't mention nothing without it coming up later for some reason.
Well, so since this
Sam?
Hello?
We lost her again.
It's
She's
weird.
in
Sam
twice.
was in here twice. You see
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
I don't know how she always manages to
time,
get Sam,
am I
how do you
still
Sam,
because I
How you
keep
in here twice?
because what happened yesterday? I keep getting kicked out, and
That's
now
what that
I
was
keep
happening
going
to me
back
the first
in,
day.
and right, exactly, and I'm back in here. So
Question. Oh, I have a question just to test this out. Who's Can? Are you on your phone?
Yeah.
Sam, are you on your phone?
yes,
Lumi, what about you? Are you on a phone or a laptop or a tablet? Well, Lumi must have
she
stepped out.
about she about
Oh,
talking and her mute is on.
okay. Reginald, what about you? Are you on a phone or a laptop?
I'm on my phone.
Okay. So I'm on my laptop, and I think Bubbles, you're on your laptop too, right?
I'm on the actual desktop.
You're on your desktop.
yeah.
Okay, so I think maybe StreamYard has some stability issues on the mobile side a little bit. Because I haven't had any kick out trouble, and Bubbles wouldn't because she's the one running the studio, of course. But I haven't had any issues of getting kicked out. What about you, Reginald?
Oh, my internet goes in and out, so that's why I had to keep coming in.
Oh,
And
okay. All right. So you have a connection issue. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. Since we're still trying to get the hang of how this one works to see what works best. I ended up switching over to my laptop just because I realized that I had less trouble doing this from my laptop than from my phone, because when I was on my phone, I kept kicking myself out because I kept hitting the damn X that I shouldn't have been hitting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's what
So
happened to me.
so before I got kicked out, what I was saying was, yes, I agree. They only bring up things to make a point. Lee brought up the death certificate. She brought up actually did the flashback to show what happened, and she told it. She smuggled him out. So I
Mhm.
agree. There's something to the death certificate, but I don't think that's to the death certificate. I don't think it's going to be the catalyst. It can't be. It
I'm
may be
trying to
brought up again, but I don't think it's going to be the catalyst to anything. To
I'm
be
trying to
honest, I
figure
think
out
it's
how did
just
she
that the
get this
stories
man?
are being told better since April 1st. To me, it seems like someone has been brought on. We know that there's a new writer, but I believe there's someone else that's overseeing operations somehow where it comes to production, because it's just been going so damn well. Even with
Yeah.
stories I don't like, they
Yeah.
have still been running other stories.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You made a
So
very good
I don't
point.
I would say normally that the mention of a death certificate would be an anvil, but at this point, no. I think it's just better storytelling. They
But
just
let
took
me
the opportunity to explain what happened, the things that we had been questioning online ever since Finn was killed. What about this? What about that? What about that? They just put a cork in some of those things.
But listen, also the thing with the death certificate, we all know from TV, well, in real life, doctors are not supposed to be doing things on family members. So for Lee to have been the one in the room when Finn was coding, working on him, that's already against ethics or something. But this is Bold and the Beautiful, and Bridget is everybody's doctor, family included. So that's thrown out the window. But
Right.
it is going to be odd at some point that Lee signed a death certificate. And what did I tell y'all the other day? Something's going to be off on that death certificate. Something is going
Right.
to be off. It's going to have a weird looking time of death, or it's going to have a weird looking cause of death. And Lee's signature is going to be on it, and they're going to question her. This is your son. How could you have made such an oversight? How could you have made such a big mistake like this? And she'll have an excuse to kind of cover, but that's going to be part of people being suspicious of what is going. Lee ain't been right since Finn died. Maybe it's the grief. Yeah, but
Right.
then she signed his death certificate, and she
Well,
was saying nothing about that, and all these
mhm.
mistakes on it was all these mistakes made because she was grieving. Why did they let her sign the death certificate? That's her son. Somebody should have been holding her hand in the chapel, not wiping her brow as she tried to take a bullet out of it. It's gonna look very odd.
I'm trying to figure out how did she get this man from the hospital to her hotel?
She's a doctor and
She,
she can do it.
that's what she said. She said I was able to get you from Steffi's. Luckily, they brought you to my
My
hospital and
hospital.
not to Steffi's hospital. So
Right.
that's what happened a lot of times in, well, I know from personal experience when it comes to cases where it's gunshot and a lot of people are getting shot in the same area, they take them to different trauma area hospitals. They don't take them all to the same trauma unit.
They take you to your trauma. They take, depending on the severity, like the big difference between Steffi, there was a big degree of difference between Steffi and Finn's wounds. So Finn would have been referred probably to the closest trauma center to where this happened, where they specialize, because every area has a trauma center, and trauma centers are rated like by different numbers.
Right.
The only reason I know this is because they used to always make it a point of saying that, okay, our hospital is the hospital where if the president is visiting, if he gets shot or something happens, he's coming here. He's not going anywhere else. They're bringing him here.
They
So
can put that hospital on lockdown.
right. So it's possible that Lee was working at a hospital that was a trauma center, and that's exactly why he ended up going there. Now she did say that nobody had caught on. She was very specific about that. I was able to smuggle. Basically, she's like, I was able to get you out of there, and nobody has caught on.
She said she used the word smuggle. So let's just go
So
back
who
to
helped? So who helped
the
her?
death certificate. Lee, ever since the shooting, Lee has been different. Okay, I mean, Lee came the day of the shooting. She was very angry. She didn't visit Steffi. Remember
She
Taylor looked
stepped
at
up.
her sideways
She
because of the
stepped
way
up to
she
Sheila.
was. So we go right, and so we go back to even that day, and then Steffi not being able to reach Lee. She had said to her mom she had been reaching out to Lee, but she never got back. She couldn't reach her. She's been unavailable, so that's another thing. Then thirdly, she doesn't want to discuss Finn in Finn being passed away in any way, shape, or form. Those three things are going to be they're going to recall all that when they do start looking at the death certificate. So you might be right. I just hope that
That's what I was saying yesterday too. That she talks in present tense when she talks about Finn. She doesn't talk in past tense at all, and nobody's picked up
Because
on that.
Steffi asked
not
today,
yet.
Steffi was like, "Can we get a memorial?" And Lee was like, "We're not doing that."
I'm not even thinking about my child being dead and you trying to have a memorial. No, we're not having a memorial.
And literally, she picked up her purse, she slung it on her
And
arm, and she was
ran.
out.
She ran.
I mean,
She
she
exited
picked up her
stage
purse.
left.
That's why I like Naomi Matsuda. I mean, she does it so real life. She bent down and picked up her purse before she said one word. That is the move. Let me gather my things before I go ahead and start saying what I have to say and start exiting. So she is not having any discussion about her son being dead. She straight up told Steffi and Taylor that.
She said, "Y'all go ahead and y'all go do what y'all want to do."
No,
But
she didn't. She said, no,
no,
we can have a
she,
service anytime, but not
Yeah,
Anytime.
but
now.
not now, right?
She said
Not
not
now.
now.
Now is not the time for that.
That's right. So there it's gonna, so we gonna get Lee, y'all. We gonna get Lee. We are so fortunate. We are getting Lee. This
Yes,
is
we
what
are.
we're getting. This is what we're getting because of the birth and because of the outgoing surgeries and stuff. This is our lead.
Lee got up so fast and ran. I was like,
So
geez.
we're gonna have Lee and Quinn and Donna mostly, and Hope. I always leave. I always forget Hope. I didn't even mean to do that on
She could
purpose.
stay. She could stay in that cabin drinking.
But
Off
yeah,
all I
but
could.
just because everybody watches, I'll go ahead and mention. So yeah,
It's an honest mistake.
so we're gonna have Lee leading with our bold ladies, and I'm loving it. I mean, I really am going to be disappointed in losing the lead that I had before the shooting. I hope she comes back. You know, um, sweet Lee that just loved her son and just was great with Steffi and just was perfect.
Oh, she
But
not coming
we
back.
can't have everything. I mean, everybody keeps talking about we can't have everything. Maybe what we're not getting is the old Lee. Maybe we'll get the same thing, but we're getting a different Lee.
Child, when Jack show up on the
Exactly.
scene, Jack
Would
better
you go
run.
for it? Would you go for it, Reginald?
If Jack show back up, she might
No.
put a bullet in him.
Oh,
Lee, for him
Nah, she
sleeping with
won't.
Sugar.
But she won't. But no, she won't. But what she
well,
won't
wait a
do
minute
is
now.
tell him
Hold
a
on,
damn
Reginald.
thing.
Well, why you
I
gonna
told
put
you,
a gun
Reginald
in
crazy.
in
I
Lee's
told you,
hand?
Reginald
You
crazy.
done went left field
Lee,
and done put a gun
So,
in her
so
hand?
you
Lee.
said I have a question.
Mm.
So you guys are saying that Lee's going to be the head. She's going to be one of the head characters during this summer. Okay, so what if she's going to be the head of what? She's going to be totally against the Foresters and Steffi.
No,
No,
I
Well, so
no,
think
I
no.
don't.
it's just gonna be angst because she's still trying to protect her son, and she don't really trust these people. I think she's eventually going to come around to being okay once they get Sheila under control. But for right now, expect the best of Stephanie Forrester from Lee Finnegan because she's moving like Stephanie Douglas Forrester. Um,
Right.
she has a reason to move like that. So I expect her to do what Stephanie would do when Stephanie did this. You know what, keep to the story until um, they either resurrect or they die. If they die, you ain't got no news to tell. Nobody gets excited about nothing. You just go on with life and go on have the memorial service and all that. But
Right.
if they live, and once they're stable, then you can bring them to the family and say, I know y'all gonna hate me, but I had to do it this way because this was the safest way to get it done. We've already talked about how Sheila would have been relentless. She would have found a way to get out of jail, to get to that hospital, to talk to Finn, to tell him that she didn't mean to shoot him. And then now you got a whole bunch of drama at the hospital. She didn't want to go back and forth with Steffi because she knows what's best for her son. She raised him his whole life. Steffi has only known him for maybe a year. So I get it. She's fixing to be the mama bear that Stephanie Forrester was. And if y'all don't remember who Stephanie Forrester was, go on get yourself on the YouTube and look at how Stephanie reacts when her kids are sick or out of pocket or whatever. She
Or they
does
need her.
whatever it takes.
Yeah.
So if you're saying that you think that Lee could potentially be like a Stephanie-esque type character this summer, in this position here,
At least as far as this matter with Finn is concerned, yes. Because I don't
yeah,
think that she is gonna be, even once Finn wakes up, I don't think she's gonna be in a place where, because like I said, she's riding that dark edge. She's not gonna be in this place where she gives a damn about these other considerations. She's still gonna be on what is best for my son. And if I don't think it's
No,
what's
baby.
best for him, then I'm not gonna burden him with that.
Okay, I could fully support that fact. But for how long is this going to go out?
That's where the problem is gonna go. Because the thing is, there, because I have two possible theories. One is that Finn wakes up basically okay, but he has huge holes in his memories. Or more likely, considering where Finn was shot, we know who knows. They may decide to put Finn in a wheelchair for a while.
That's true. The bullet could have ricocheted off of his spine.
Exactly. Which would put Lee in a position of, well, my son needs to be cared for, and I'm the only person who really knows how to care for my son. So I don't want to say we're gonna be having no, kind of what happened to Baby Jane type scenario where Finn is trapped up in that room, but yeah, Finn might be corralled up in there for a while, whether he want to be or not.
I don't know. So this is the thing. I feel like we're going to be getting, because right now Tanner has been filming clearly. So I'm assuming he's still filming because his wife isn't due until August. So we still got months to go. So I don't see Finn being in a wheelchair. I think it's going to be more cognitive. That's why I think, just like we're talking about, they don't say things for nothing. Them saying there was no brain activity wasn't for damn nothing.
Yeah,
because
right.
we all know that was just too damn far, right?
Yes.
We all know that. So this is going, in my opinion, this is going to be cognitive. And the reason why is because they want to tweak Finn as a character. Because let's be real. This show has a hard time with characterization for characters that have been on the show for 10, 15 years. So Finn, as a 2-year character, they are within their right. They are within their creative right to make this character more of what they want the character to be long term. So what they created, Finn for in 2020 may not be what they are seeing for Finn going forward. So I believe that no brain activity was a anvil to some serious cognitive problems, more to the darling with the serious holes. I don't think it's going to be holes. I think it's more like a blank slate.
So that's basically like what I was saying. So he's gonna become what, the Jason from General Hospital of Bold and Beautiful.
Yeah,
Like
I
they
don't
gonna
know what Jason
rework
was.
his
Hopefully
whole
not that far.
characteristic.
So tell me, I don't know what that was.
Hopefully,
I don't.
okay. The
You
short
know,
version,
Jason.
the
Okay.
short version of Jason Morgan is this. Okay, Jason Morgan didn't used to exist. Okay, there used to be a Jason Quartermain on the General Hospital.
Yep.
Long story short, Jason and his brother AJ were always in it back and forth, left and right for years. And then there was a completely screwed up car accident where AJ's drunk ass was basically responsible for driving Jason's head into a tree. When that happened, when Jason regained his consciousness, his brain injuries was a total memory loss. I mean, everything. It was gone. When he woke up from his coma, he didn't remember nothing. Period. All he knew was that he did not like his people no more. That's how he ended up being Sonny's right-hand man. And that has never changed. Jason Quartermain never came back. It's been Jason Morgan all that time since the early freaking 90s, since that accident happened. I don't think they're going to go that far with it, because they basically changed Jason into a completely different character. Jason Quartermain, before the accident, Jason was this studious student who was like on a path to be running ELQ straight from Edward's hands. Edward loved him.
With Keisha by his side.
Exactly, man. I wish they would bring Keisha ass back, but that's a whole other story.
Definitely not going to do that with Finn, because no,
that's a bit far.
Story. So he didn't have Finn give his life for Steffi to come back alive, to not know her and disown her. So we definitely won't be a Jason Morgan, but it will be something that Steffi is going to have to fight for. Because it won't be Finn, because that's the only thing. Well, that's not the only thing, but there's a lot lacking.
So that kind of mimics then Liam's situation in the cabin with Quinn. Like, she knew all the facts, but he had to relearn everything.
Well, but so I think that's going to play out with Lee and Finn. Because again, right
Right,
now, who's
right.
taping? Lee's taping, Finn's taping. Sheila is off. I mean, I'm sorry, Kimberly. I don't know. I don't know if Kimberly's taping right now. We know Kelly
She's
had
on
visited.
vacation. If what she's
But
posting
she
on
went
Insta,
fishing, right?
she's
That
on
that
fishing. She's having
yeah.
life.
That yeah. So I didn't know if that was a weekend thing or not. But anywho, we know that we've got people out. We just talked about this, and we gonna have Lee. We know we gonna have Lee. We got Tanner. These are two new faces that we know are going to be on and playing. Finn is not gonna be in that bed all this time. He is going to
No.
be contained because he has to still be contained because we know Jackie is going to be away. And
Mm-hmm.
he's going to be away because he's not going to be known and shown until she's back. So we're going to have all this time between Lee and Finn alone. And it is going to be Quinn and
Liam story
Adam.
all over
Right.
again.
It's going to be
Right.
exact. I mentioned that maybe an hour ago. Exactly.
Because
It's going to
she's
be the
not
same deal.
because
And
I don't know. Do you think that she's going to help him remember where he was and who he was with and
she
married
pro-
to?
no, she probably going to try to have him remember they
His
actual
life
life before
before.
Steffi. And right. And he probably going to start remembering that stuff.
Mm-hmm. He started getting
And
flashes.
Like what they did
exactly.
with
And
Steffi
just
when
like
she
what
first moved.
somebody said, I don't know who said it, but it's going to get to a point where she's not going to be able to contain him in that room.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So he's
Exactly.
going to
Now the
follow
question
her
is
he
his
can accidentally. That's gonna maybe comes up too. Like somebody's gonna follow her and accidentally rescue Finn out of her room.
Well, that would be too much like the Liam in Quinn story where Wyatt showed up. But it could be somebody investigating and finding it. Our main man Justin, it would be a great time to pull him back in since we got people out.
I
right.
think it might
Now
be Lynn.
so yeah, that's gonna be a question of whether or not whatever is going to be containing Finn is either going to be a physical ailment or it's going to be a cognitive one. So we're going to see which way they're going to go with that. Something is going to happen once he wakes up, because you're right, they're not going to just keep Tanner in that bed sleep for weeks and weeks and weeks. I don't see them doing that.
Right.
But once he wakes up, something is going to have to prevent him from reaching out to try to connect with his wife or to find out what happened. Because we keep in mind, he doesn't even know on paper when he wakes up, he wouldn't even know Steffi was shot. Because if he does remember what the events that led up to him, losing consciousness, he would remember that he was shot, but he doesn't know about anything that happened after that. So he's going to wake up, aside from any cognitive issues or memory shorts, he's going to have a significant gap about what's happened in the meantime.
Well, even when Finn was shot in the alley, when the bullet hit him and he turned to the side and looked at Steffi and he fell to the ground. When she fell to the ground and he wasn't saying anything, when the first thing that he did say when he did wake up was, "What happened?"
Right. So
He
we'll
didn't even
so
realize he had been shot. It happened so fast. Or if he did,
exactly.
it was just like he didn't know. He was like, "What happened? What
That
happened?"
that and on top of that, then you're gonna that and I think that's kind of where Lee is gonna start to crack around the edges a bit. That right now she's kind of sort of holding it together because she's just on this path of, I gotta save my son. But once her son is saved, if she has to go against him, what he's saying he wants to do, what
To
she thinks in
protect
his
him.
best interest,
Yep.
yes, she's gonna start cracking around the edges. And that's also where, if she has to interact with other people outside of that room, they're going to be able to see that something is not right with her and that it's more than just grief. This may be a case of Lee may end up telling on herself at the end of the day, because Finn's awake and she's having trouble working that situation with him being awake and not wanting to stay where she wants him to stay.
Her
Yeah,
going
If
back
it
and
she's
goes that
kind of
way.
doing it now, but nobody's really paying attention. She's kind of doing it
Right.
now.
She's been
Steffi,
doing it ever since
Steffi
he
kind of
left.
paying attention because Steffi
She's
trying to figure it
always
out.
talking about him in present tense.
Yeah, that and her attitude, and Steffi notices that her attitude is really different. And they're putting it on grief right now. But like I said, they're not going to be able to do that a month from now, because I think Finn is going to wake up in early June. Now, when Finn is going to see the rest of the world versus when we're going to see him, I don't know.
Yeah, I said he's probably gonna wake up next week. That's what I said too.
I'm gonna back up to something and then we're gonna end because y'all it's 9:34 and it's been
Yeah,
a
we've been
while
on here 2.5 hours.
over. Yeah, it's been a while since we've gone over on the spaces. But y'all said that Finn would have to be rescued. He don't need to be rescued from his mama. She's not holding him captive.
No, she's not holding him captive, but she's gonna be holding him away from everyone who thinks he's dead.
Right, but she's only going to do that until she feels like he's ready to be back in the world. Like she's not going to, surely she doesn't believe that she's going to keep him away from work and everything
And
else
Hayes.
for the rest of his life and his baby and his wife and this life he's built. She can't sustain that for the rest of her life, much less the rest of his life. Plus she got a job. She just going to disappear from work to keep eyes on Finn. I think she just wants to get him out of the woods without complication or interruption because she knows the minute they know he's alive, everybody is going to be in his face all the time. And she just wants him to heal without pressure. Ain't nobody hovering over him all the time except for her. And she has it under control. You know,
I think it's the latter. I think it's the latter. I think that's exactly what she's trying to do, the opposite of that. But time only tell.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're gonna see.
Guys, we're gonna wrap this up and put a pin in it until tomorrow because I'm sure that we'll have something extra. What are the spoilers for tomorrow? Does anybody?
Yes, I do. I know it's Lee. Steffi looks to Lee for closure regarding Finn, and Hope Brooke being up in Hope ear about Liam spending so much time over at Steffi's.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We might have something good to talk about with Captain Kumquat tomorrow.
Exactly.
I made a tweet, guys. Could you guys go look at it and answer it? Because it's one of my predictions about Paris and Carter.
Sure.
I want to get you guys' input.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
All right. Bye, y'all.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.
All right.
Thanks for coming out, y'all.
Thanks.
Night night.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.